Chapter 318. You're back so soon? Wolf King and Lu Hong were stunned. Wolf King sized up Qin Feiyong and said, "Why do you look so weird?" Qin Feiyong said, "Zhenbao Pavilion won't sell me any herbs either." "How is that possible?" A man and a wolf were shocked. Qin Feiyong said, "Qin Die told me personally. It can't be fake." Lu Hong said, "Why would they do that? You're a supreme alchemist." "Doesn't the Lu clan have a supreme alchemist too?" Qin Feiyong sneered. Although Qin Die didn't say it explicitly, the timing was too coincidental. The Lu clan was definitely behind all of this. Only the Lu clan had the ability to persuade Zhenbao Pavilion not to sell him any herbs. Wolf King said angrily, "Damn, the Lu clan is really something. They can even bribe Zhenbao Pavilion. Let's go and find the mansion master now." Lu Hong's heart skipped a beat. If the mansion master was willing to step in, not only would the current situation be resolved easily, the Lu clan wouldn't dare to scheme against them in the future. "Have you forgotten? The mansion master said that he won't give us any help. Plus, he doesn't need to step in for such a small matter. Since the Lu clan wants to play, I'll play with them." Qin Feiyong sneered. Seeing that he was confident, Wolf King and Lu Hong didn't say anything else. Qin Feiyong took out an image crystal and activated it. Soon, Fatso's shadow appeared. "It's true that one day apart feels like 3 years. Boss, what's the matter with Fat Lord?" Fatso chuckled. Qin Feiyong said, "Quickly organize and see if there are any herbs for the marrow cleansing pill." "What?" Fatso's eyes widened and he asked in surprise, "Why do you want the marrow cleansing pill?" "This thing could only be used by people who consume the spiritual disaster pill." Qin Feiyong said, "Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and find them." "Oh." Fatso took out his Qiankuan bag and searched for a while before nodding. "Yes. All right." Qin Feiyong was overjoyed and said, "Prepare a copy immediately and send it to the Holy Hall, but don't enter the Holy Hall. I'll have Wolf King wait for you at the bottom of the stone stairs. By the way, prepare some herbs for the body tempering pill and chi gathering pill for me as well." He added. "Yes." Fatso nodded and turned off the image crystal. "Haha. Do they think that by bribing the treasure pavilion and sealing off the resource hall, we won't be able to find the medicinal herbs? How naive, we have a moving treasure trove of medicinal herbs." Wolf King laughed loudly, his eyes filled with mockery. Qin Feiyong said, "Stop laughing. Hurry up and go. Don't let anyone find out. Also, don't tell Fatso about Lu Hong. Leave it to me." Wolf King stood up and patted his chest. He turned into a palm-sized small beast and left quickly. Not long after, Huang San came to the elixir refinement room and said in a low voice, "Senior Brother Qin, I heard some news." "What news?" Qin Feiyong frowned. "I chatted with Elder D for a while. After asking around, I found out that Lu Ziyuan suddenly had a stomachache after you and senior sister Lu Hong returned. He even went to the toilet." Huang San said. Lu Hong asked, "Who's Elder D?" Huang San said, "The deacon elder who was guarding the door." "A 7 stars battle monarch would have a stomachache?" Qin Feiyong sneered. He was already certain that Lu Ziyuan and the other two were behind it. The timing was too coincidental. He took out a few hundred supreme-grade qi gathering pills and handed them to Huang San. He said with a smile, "Help me find out more about Zhang Chuan and Lu Ziyuan." "No problem." Huang San was overjoyed. He put away the pills and left quickly. Lu Hong shook her head and said, "I was a little dissatisfied when you pleaded for him. I didn't expect him to save me in the end." Qin Feiyong smiled and took out the fire phoenix. He placed it in her hand and said, "Keep it well. If it wasn't for it this time, you would be finished." "Yes." Lu Hong sighed deeply and tied the fire phoenix around her neck again. Qin Feiyong said, "See if your potential imprint is still there." Lu Hong turned around and opened her clothes. She said in surprise, "It's still there." "Then don't worry. Although your cultivation is crippled now, your foundation and potential imprint are still there. In addition, I can now refine supreme-grade pills with 2 pill patterns. I believe that soon you will be able to recover your cultivation." Qin Feiyong comforted. Lu Hong's current conditions were too good. The speed of her recultivation would definitely far surpass him in the past. "I'm not worried at all." Lu Hong shook her head and smiled. Her eyes flashed with an inexplicable brilliance. Qin Feiyong smiled, turned and walked into the alchemy room. He took out a red fire-colored glass pill's medicinal materials. He opened the furnace to refine the pill. Soon, the pill was out of the furnace. There were 2 dazzling pill patterns on it. Lu Hong walked up and looked at it curiously. She asked, "Do you think this pill can raise one's cultivation by 3 small realms?" "I don't know either. When Huang San comes back, I'll test it on him. If it can really raise one's cultivation by 3 small realms, I guarantee that Treasure Pavilion will regret today's decision." Qin Feiyong snorted coldly. Lu Hong pursed her lips and smiled. Even if it can't raise one's cultivation by 3 small realms, they will still regret it when they know that you can refine supreme-grade pills with 2 pill patterns. The good show is yet to come. "Give me the medicinal materials for the battle qi pill," Qin Feiyong said. Lu Hong took out a Qianquan bag from her arms and said, "There are also a few sets of clothes for the disciples of the Knights Templar." Qin Feiyong nodded and said, "Don't run around. I'll take a closer look at the alchemy scripture." After that, he entered the castle. The look in Lu Hong's eyes also gradually changed. "I know that a woman like me will never be good enough for you. I have never desired anything. I only hope that I can stay by your side for the rest of my life. I will be satisfied to see you every day," she muttered to herself in her heart. In the castle, Qin Feiyong lowered his head and carefully looked at the refining methods of the battle qi pill and the marrow cleansing pill. After memorizing everything, he looked at all the pill formulas on the second page one by one. Last time, because the Black Wing King and the others wanted to rebel, the situation was urgent, so he didn't look at it carefully. He didn't know if he didn't look, but after looking, his eyes revealed a hint of surprise. On the second page, there were a total of 26 pill formulas. Basically, he knew all of them. But it was the first time he had heard of the last 2 pills. One was called the Juku Yellow Dragon pill. The other was called the Potential pill. After glancing at the names of the 2 pills, he couldn't wait to look at the annotations below. Gradually, his eyes burst out with a ray of light. Moreover, as time passed, the light became brighter and brighter. In the end, his dark eyes shone like 2 bright moons. Even his body was trembling. He was excited. Phew. After a long time, he withdrew his gaze and closed the alchemy scripture. Then, he let out a long breath and calmed the excitement in his heart. The Juku Yellow Dragon pill was similar to the Scarlet Fire Glass pill. It could increase one's realm by a small level. The difference was, the Scarlet Fire Glass pill was only effective for martial artists, and martial artists. But the Juku Yellow Dragon pill could increase one's realm by a small level. As far as he knew, even the Imperial Palace didn't have this kind of pill. As for the Potential pill, it was even more amazing. It was the upgraded version of the Potential pill. That's right. The Potential pill could open the 4th and 5th level of the Gate of Potential. That was the ultimate realm of the War King, and the ultimate realm of the War Emperor. According to the alchemy scripture, the Potential pill could no longer open the 4th and 5th level. However, there were a total of 44 kinds of medicinal herbs for the Potential pill, which was 11 more than the Potential pill, and each of them was very precious. However, in the spirit state where there were many outstanding people, medicinal herbs were definitely not a problem. After dealing with the current matters, the first task was to sweep the medicinal herbs. Thinking about it, Qin Feiyong couldn't help but smile bitterly. Originally, he thought that the Potential pill could open all the gates of potential, so he sent a total of 5 to the Mermaid Princess. Only now did he realize that he had made a big joke. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something, took out the image crystal, and quickly activated it. After more than 10 breaths, a shadow condensed. "Aya! What kind of wind is blowing tonight?" Boss Qin actually came to me. It was Steward Li Ji. No. He was now the chief pavilion master of the Yan County, so he should be called Pavilion Master Li. Qin Feiyong smiled bitterly and said, "Senior, you're already so old. Can you not be so sarcastic every time?" Li Ji shook his head and smiled. Okay, this old man will be serious. "Have you arrived at the state capital now?" Qin Feiyong said. "I arrived a few days ago." "So fast?" Li Ji was stunned and said with a teasing tone, "Those who enter the state capital are all big shots. Mr. Qin, is there something you need from me? Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes. He was truly old and frivolous, but he liked to deal with such people. They didn't put on airs and were amiable. Everything was negotiable. Qin Feiyong said, I want to ask, have you reported the 33 herbs of the potential pill to the state capital? Turned out to be because of this. Well, we are all old acquaintances, so I won't hide it from you. I have reported it to the state capital. But you have to understand me. I'm just a small figure. If the people in the state capital want to know, I dare not tell them. If this matter has caused you trouble, I can only say sorry, Li Ji said. Qin Feiyong frowned. Originally, he was also preparing to sweep the herbs of the potential pill. Although the potential pill was meaningless to him, he could still sell it for money, and it could definitely be auctioned at a sky-high price. But now it seemed that it was obviously not feasible. There is no trouble. I just lost some gold coins. It doesn't matter. Qin Feiyong smiled and asked, Aunt Shui, Lu Ji, Linny, and the others, how are they? Madam is fine now. I let her stay in the treasure pavilion in Yen City, and take over my previous position to help me manage the accounts. Lu Ji was also brought to Yen City by Elder Wan, and settled in the Martial Emperor Hall. As for Linny, that little girl is also in the Martial Emperor Hall in Yen City. But when she learned that you left her and went to the state capital alone, she seemed to be very sad. Look at you, you stinking brat. Everyone else is trying their best to climb onto women, but you're trying your best to push them away. I can't help but wonder if you are incompetent in that aspect. Li Ji looked at Qin Feiyong strangely. Incompetent? Qin Feiyong smiled bitterly. This old man is really disrespectful. Chapter 319. That moment, Qin Feiyong told Lu Hong about the potential elixir and Juka Yellow Dragon elixir. Lu Hong was also so shocked that she could not close her mouth. After a long while, she came back to her senses and said with a smile, Now you're more confident. Qin Feiyong shook his head. I won't show you these two elixirs unless it's a critical moment. Lu Hong thought for a while and said, Indeed, it's best to use them as a trump card. Qin Feiyong said, Go to the lounge and have a good rest. I'll call you when I'm done refining the marrow cleansing elixir. Lu Hong nodded and turned to walk into the lounge. Qin Feiyong also entered the alchemy room and began refining the battle chi elixir. After a full 4 hours, Wolf King finally ran into the alchemy room, panting. What took you so long? Qin Feiyong was puzzled. It took so long? It's easy for you to say that. The Pill Fire Palace is hundreds of miles away from the gate. This time I didn't even stop for a moment. Wolf King glared at him fiercely and threw a Qiankuan bag over. Qin Feiyong was stunned. He caught the Qiankuan bag and could not help but shake his head and laugh. The Divine Palace was indeed too big. If one could not fly and did not have a teleportation door, it would be troublesome to even go out. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something. He glanced at Lu Hong in the lounge and said in a low voice, White-eyed wolf, don't you think it's strange? What's strange? Wolf King was somewhat baffled. The Mermaid Emperor said that if I get intimate with another woman, the concentric knot will react and even my heart will explode. But I've hugged Lu Hong for so long and I didn't see any abnormalities. Qin Feiyong was puzzled. Are you an idiot? Hugging is called being intimate. Let me teach you. Being intimate means taking off all your clothes, hugging each other mouth to mouth, bottom to bottom, understand? Wolf King's eyes were filled with disdain. Ugh. Qin Feiyong was stunned. I can't be bothered to talk nonsense with a fool like you. I'm going to rest. Wolf King waved its claws and turned to run towards the lounge. It's looking down on me again. Qin Feiyong's face twitched, and he looked at Wolf King unhappily. No. How did it know so clearly? Could it be that he had spied on someone doing something? I'll have to interrogate this scoundrel properly some other day. He mumbled to himself as he took out the ingredients for the marrow cleansing pill. It took him 100 breaths to finally refine it. After waking Lu Hong up and waiting for her to consume the medicine, Qin Feiyong sent her into the castle so that she could concentrate on her cultivation. That night, Qin Feiyong was busy in the alchemy room. He refined the body tempering pill, the chi gathering pill, and the battle chi pill. It was dawn. Lu Hong's matter also gradually spread in the divine temple. Many people didn't know who Lu Hong was. But what Zhang Chuan and Qin Feiyang did undoubtedly aroused public anger. Especially the female disciples, they all felt injustice for Lu Hong. Such scum must not be allowed to live. Otherwise, there might be more women who would be harmed by them in the future. At the same time, the news that Qin Feiyang was a supreme-grade alchemist also spread wildly in the Divine Temple. Many people came because of his reputation, but they were all stopped outside the Pill Fire Hall by Elder Di and Qin Feiyang. Lu Ziyuan and the other two kneeling in the middle of the square naturally became the focus of everyone's discussion. Noon. Huang Sen hurriedly ran up to the 10th floor and knocked on the door of alchemy room number 2. Wolf King opened the stone door and said angrily, "What are you doing? I'm not deaf. Don't you know how to be gentle?" Huang San said anxiously, "Brother Wolf, something bad has happened. Where's senior brother Qin? What's the hurry? Come in and tell me." Qin Feiyang walked out of the alchemy room, looking exhausted. Huang San ran into the alchemy room and closed the stone door. "Senior brother Qin, we didn't catch Zhang Chuan and Qin Feiyang." "What?" The Wolf King was enraged and shouted, "A dignified temple can't even catch 2 disciples? Are they all useless?" "Calm down," Qin Feiyang growled. He looked at Huang San and asked, "What happened?" Huang San shook his head. "I don't know. We searched the entire Divine Temple and couldn't find them. It's like they've evaporated." "They can't have evaporated." Qin Feiyang shook his head. He lowered his head and pondered for a while. "What did Elder Lu say?" Huang San said, "Elder Lu left the Divine Temple early in the morning. He seemed to be looking for Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei's family." "Family?" Qin Feiyang frowned. "You may not know, but Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei are both disciples of the family. Although they are only small families in the East City, there are many war emperors in the family," Huang San said. "Then is there such a possibility? After the 2 escaped last night, the first thing they did was to inform their family. Then their families used the portal to secretly take them away?" Wolf King asked. Huang San's eyes trembled. He nodded and said, "It's possible. After all, with their financial resources, it's not difficult for them to buy a few portals." "Bastard! Little Qin Zi, let's go. Let's go find them now," Wolf King said coldly. "Don't be impulsive. I'll send a message to Elder Lu now." Qin Feiyang waved his hand, took out an image crystal, and poured his battle qi into it. After a while, a beautiful woman appeared. Qin Feiyang asked, "Elder Lu, how's the situation?" "I'm on my way back. Go to my place and wait for me," Elder Lu hurriedly replied, and the image dissipated. Huang San said, "It seems that Elder Lu didn't find Zheng Chuan and the others. They can't escape." Qin Feiyang sneered and looked at Huang San. "Don't come to me often in the future, or Lu Ziyuan and the other 2 won't let you go. Do you have an image crystal?" "How can a person like me have an image crystal?" Huang San smiled bitterly. Qin Feiyang frowned and said, "What's your cultivation now?" Huang San said, 5-star Martial Grandmaster. Qin Feiyang said, "Have you taken the red fire glass pill?" "No." Huang San shook his head. Qin Feiyang said, "Then open your mouth." "Why should I open my mouth?" Huang San looked at him suspiciously. Qin Feiyang said with a faint smile, "I'll give you a good fortune." "Good fortune?" Huang San was slightly stunned. Was he going to give him the best red fire glass pill? He hurriedly opened his mouth. Qin Feiyang took out the red fire glass pill with 2 veins, and before Huang San could see it clearly, he stuffed it into his mouth like lightning. Can't be some highly toxic pill, right? Seeing Qin Feiyang acting so mysteriously, Huang San's eyelids twitched, and he couldn't help but feel uneasy. Boom! After a few breaths, a powerful aura roared out from Huang San's body. "It's really the red fire glass pill." Huang San was extremely excited. His cultivation suddenly soared to 6-star Martial Grandmaster. But the next moment, his aura soared again, and he was 7-star Martial Grandmaster. It soared by 2 small realms. This is the best red fire glass pill. Huang San was stunned at first, and then he was wild with joy. He bowed and said, "Thank you for your reward, senior brother Qin." Qin Feiyang frowned. Boom! However, the next moment, Huang San's aura erupted again, And he broke through to 8-star Martial Grandmaster. How could this be? It's not the best red fire glass pill. Huang San was stunned. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed, and he waved his hand and said, well, you can go. As for this matter, don't mention it to anyone. Yes. Huang San responded respectfully, and walked out of the alchemy room with a head full of doubts. Wolf King snickered. I'm afraid he's still in the clouds. Qin Feiyong said, isn't this normal? Wait for me, I'll refine another one. He entered the alchemy room. Soon he came out again. Let's go. The man and the wolf left the alchemy room. After closing the stone door, they jumped and landed steadily at the bottom of the courtyard. When they walked out of the gate of the Pill Fire Hall, they were stunned. Why were there so many people in the square? At a glance, there were hundreds of them. Elder D explained, they heard that you were a best alchemist, so they came to see you, but we stopped them outside. Qin Feiyong suddenly realized and asked, Elder, where is Elder Lu's residence? Elder D said, go straight to the left. It's only 2 miles away. Thank you, Elder. Qin Feiyong cupped his hands. Look, he's Qin Feiyong. He's finally out. He's quite handsome. Senior brother Qin, can we talk? For a moment the place was noisy. Thank you for your love, but I have important matters to attend to. Forgive me for not being able to accompany you. Qin Feiyong politely cupped his hands and said. After that, he glanced at Lu Ziyuan and the other two and quickly left. Wolf King said telepathically, did you notice that the 3 of them are gloating? Qin Feiyong nodded. There was an independent courtyard next to a lake. The lake was dozens of feet long, and the clear water reflected layers of golden scales under the sunlight. In the lake there were dark green lotus leaves, blooming lotus flowers and colorful fish. In the courtyard, hundreds of flowers were in full bloom, and small trees were verdant. Not only was the scenery pleasant, but it was also very peaceful. In the deepest part of the courtyard, there was a 2-story pavilion with carved beams and painted pillars. It was quite grand. That was Elder Lu's residence. Other than the big shots, no disciple was allowed to enter without her permission. A man and a wolf arrived and waited by the lake. About 200 breaths passed. Whoosh! With a burst of sound, Elder Lu landed in front of the courtyard. But there were 2 other people beside her. Both of them were middle-aged and did not wear the uniform of the holy sanctum. There was a bit of dignity between their brows. It seemed that their identities were not small. Qin Feiyong walked up and cupped his hands. Greetings, Elder Lu. These 2 are? They are Wang Fei and Zheng Gang's fathers. Wang Jian, 5th Zheng. The young man in front of you is Qin Feiyong. If you have anything to say, let's make it clear here. Elder Lu said, her face a little ugly. Qin Feiyong narrowed his eyes and looked at Wang Jian and 5th Zheng. At the same time, Wang Jian and 5th Zheng were also sizing up Qin Feiyong. Qin Feiyong, I'm really sorry. I apologize to you on behalf of Zheng Chuan, this unfilial son. This time, we came mainly to visit Lu Hong and compensate you for your losses. Wang Jian and 5th Zheng were the first to break the silence. Apologize. Compensate. Chapter 320. You want to settle this with just an apology? Do you really think that I, Qin Feiyong, am a pushover? Little brother, calm down first. We all know that Lu Hong has suffered a lot this time. However, what's done is done. Even if you kill my son, you won't be able to change the situation. Why don't we become friends and turn this into a small matter? If you can give up pursuing the matter, you'll be a guest of honor for both our families. Wang Jian and Wang Wu smiled apologetically. Hearing this, Qin Feiyong couldn't help but laugh in anger. Turn this into a small matter? He really didn't know how these 2 could still have the face to say such a thing. A guest of honor? Are the Wang and Zheng families that great? With his current alchemy skills, as long as he was willing, even the Lu family would immediately put aside their grudges and treat him as a guest of honor. 2 small clans dared to show off here? Seeing the angry smile on Qin Feiyong's face, Wang Jian and Wang Wu frowned slightly. 5th Zheng smiled and said, Little brother, we came here with sincerity. As he spoke, he took out a Qianquan bag and said, there are 100 million gold coins in here. Consider it our Zheng family's compensation to Lu Hong. I also prepared 100 million gold coins. 200 million gold coins should be enough to compensate for Lu Hong's loss. Please accept it. Wang Jian also took out a Qianquan bag and handed it to Qin Feiyang. What a joke. Lu Hong became a one-star battle king at the age of 18. Do you know how hard she worked? Because of those two beasts who are worse than pigs and dogs, all her years of hard work went down the drain in an instant. If we hadn't arrived in time, not only would they have tainted her innocence, they would have killed her. Is this something that can be solved with money? Qin Feiyang roared angrily and slapped the two men's cosmos bags away. These two people were simply too shameless. Actually, it was understandable that every parent would try to cover up for their children. However, after committing such a big mistake, they still tried to cover it up. That was conniving. Aren't you just trying to extort more money? 300 million? 400 million? 500 million? Name your price. As long as we can afford it, we will satisfy you. The two of them frowned and looked coldly at Qin Feiyang. Fuck, this bro has a bad temper. I've never seen people as shameless as you. Blackmail you? Why don't you fucking look at yourselves in the mirror? As expected, like father like son. Bitches like you are just wasting air by living. Wolf King roared on the spot, scolding the two of them. Wang Jian and Wang Lin's faces darkened as well. Although they were only the heads of small clans, they were still combat emperors. When had they ever been scolded like this? More importantly, the person who scolded them was an animal. What? Are you unhappy that I scolded you? Wolf King looked at them provocatively. A cold light flashed in their eyes. Suppressing the anger in their hearts, they looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "Don't talk nonsense, name your price." Again? Wolf King gritted his teeth. "Alright, stop talking. I will deal with it." Qin Feiyang stopped Wolf King and looked at Wang Jian and Wang Lin. The arrogant attitude of these two people had completely infuriated him. Do you have a lot of gold coins? Do you really think that gold coins can solve everything? Alright, I will give you 1 billion each to buy the heads of those two animals. Qin Feiyang laughed. Don't go too far. Wang Jian and Wang Lin said angrily. Not enough. Alright, 2 billion each, is that enough? If it's not enough, 3 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion each, is that enough? Qin Feiyang shouted sternly. Wang Jian and Wang Lin's faces were extremely gloomy. I can only say that you are too stupid. Don't you think that a top-grade alchemist is short of money? If you continue to talk about money, I will smash you to death with gold coins. In my heart, Lu Hong is not something that can be measured with gold coins. There's no room for negotiation. Send those two animals to me. I will kill them. Qin Feiyang said. Wang Jian said, we don't know where they are either. Fifzheng added, they didn't go home. Maybe they know that they are in trouble and ran somewhere to hide. Qin Feiyang said, as their father, you can't even find them. Aren't you too useless? Wang Jian frowned and said, young man, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. Elder Lu has already searched my house. She can testify. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, if you hide them, Elder Lu won't be able to find them even if she has 3 heads and 6 arms, right? The two were furious. They turned to look at Lu Yun and said, Elder Lu, with his attitude, how can we talk like this? Qin Feiyang said, then let's not talk. All right. You said it. We don't want to stick our warm faces to your cold buttocks. Elder Lu, farewell. The two cupped their hands, picked up the universe bag and soared into the sky. Qin Feiyang looked up at the two and said, listen up. If you don't bring those 2 animals to me before dark, I guarantee that you will regret it for the rest of your lives. All right. Then I'll wait and see. The two of them laughed coldly, turned around, and flew away without looking back. Lu Yun frowned and looked at Qin Feiyang. This matter, Elder, there's no need to say anything. Because I don't expect the Divine Temple to help me do anything. I'll be returning first. Qin Feiyang said indifferently and strode away with Wolf King. Wolf King sent a voice transmission, Little Qin Zi. Have you thought of a solution? Qin Feiyang said. Don't worry, Wang Jian and the others will come and beg me soon. Wolf King said. Then where are we going now? Treasure Pavilion. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. 2 hours later. A white-clothed youth with a sickly look walked into the square outside the reception hall. He glanced at the reception hall, strode to the stone stairs and walked down. It was Qin Feiyong in disguise. As for Wolf King, he had turned into the size of a baby's palm and was hiding in his arms. Qin Feiyong scanned the crowd below as he walked. Everything was the same. On the stone stairs, hundreds of people were working hard to climb up, dreaming of becoming a disciple of the Divine Temple. Before entering the Divine Temple, Qin Feiyong also yearned for it. But now he realized that the Divine Temple was not worth yearning for at all. On both sides of the stone stairs, there were still two groups of people gathered together to gamble. Further away, there were figures standing at various intersections. They seemed to be chatting, but their eyes were extremely sharp and from time to time, they would glance towards the entrance of the Divine Temple. Qin Feiyong walked down the stone stairs and sped along the street. At the same time, secretly observing those people also looked at him one after another, and all of them had a kind of scrutinizing gaze. Qin Feiyong's heart trembled. These people were dressed very plainly, but the temperament they exuded was very outstanding. Moreover, every one of them could give him a deep sense of danger. Without a doubt, these people were not simple. Qin Feiyong also had a very real premonition that these people were most likely coming for him. And the reason why he disguised himself was because he was worried that someone would be waiting outside. Now it seemed that the disguise was indeed wise. When Qin Feiyong arrived at the treasure pavilion in the East City, it was already the next morning. Early in the morning there were countless people coming in and out. Qin Feiyong stood on the street in front of the entrance, looking inside expressionlessly. First it was nothing. But as time passed, the two guards guarding the door could not help but frown. What did this person mean? Standing there motionless and not saying a word. Was he looking for trouble? One of them walked in front of Qin Feiyong and cupped his hands. Is there anything I can do for you? Qin Feiyong was now wearing the uniform of a Divine Temple disciple. And no matter where a Divine Temple disciple went, they would be respected. Especially an alchemist. But Qin Feiyong did not make a sound. He did not even look at the guard. The guard said helplessly, "Little brother, if you want to buy something, can you just go in directly?" Qin Feiyong looked up at the horizon. The sun had already risen, and the sunlight illuminated the mountains and rivers. "It's time." He muttered secretly, looked down at the guard and said lightly, "I'm not buying anything, I'm looking for someone." The guard said, "Then who are you looking for?" Qin Feiyong said, "In Yuanming." The guard hesitated. This person was too strange. He did not dare to make a decision on his own. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly, took out a facial restoration pill, threw it into his mouth, and quickly recovered his true appearance. "It's you." The two guards could not help but change their expressions. The people going in and out also stopped in unison and looked at him in bewilderment. "It seems that you have a deep impression of me." Qin Feiyong glanced at the crowd and said lightly, "There should be people from the Lu family here, right? Hurry up and inform your patriarch that I, Qin Feiyong, have come to East City." "And brother." Wolf King came out of Qin Feiyong's clothes and stood on his shoulder proudly. "What? Are they openly provoking the Lu family? Why are they so confident? A Divine Temple disciple? An alchemist?" The people were very surprised. As long as this man and Wolf came to East City was destined to not be peaceful. Someone in the crowd took out a video crystal to inform the Lu family. Qin Feiyong did not stop him. At this moment, Qin Jie walked out of the treasure pavilion and came to Qin Feiyong with a frown. She whispered, "Why are you here again? Why are you so high profile?" "I have to be high profile when I need to be." Qin Feiyong took out a jade box and said, "I'll have to trouble you to deliver this jade box to Yin Yuanming." "What is it?" Qin Jie was confused and was about to open it. Qin Feiyong grabbed her wrist and shook his head. "You can't see it. Only Yin Yuanming can see it." Qin Jie shook her head. "Don't waste your time. No matter what you give, no matter how much you suck up to him, the steward will not give you the ingredients for the marrow cleansing pill." Qin Feiyong said, "Just do as I say. Who knows, he might even reward you when the time comes." Qin Jie looked at him suspiciously and nodded. "Okay, I'll send it to the steward now. But don't mess around here." She warned him, then turned and ran inside. Qin Feiyong raised the corner of his mouth. Chapter 321. Whoosh! After a few seconds, a group of people flew across the sky like lightning and landed in front of Qin Feiyong. The leader was Steward Liu. Surround him! Steward Liu waved his hand, and the group of men in black immediately surrounded Qin Feiyong. They came so fast. He won't be able to escape this time. It's all his fault for being so high profile. If he can continue to disguise himself, he won't be discovered. The crowd discussed in low voices. Steward Liu glanced at the man in wolf and said lightly, Qin Feiyong, ruffian wolf, I won't give you a chance to slip away this time, please. Qin Feiyong asked, where are we going? Steward Liu said with a smile, do you still need to ask? Of course, we're going to visit the Liu family. Qin Feiyong laughed, I want to go. But I don't think someone will let me. I'd like to see who has the guts. Steward Liu glanced around and everyone lowered their heads, not daring to look at him directly. Steward Liu smiled in disdain and said to Qin Feiyong, did you see that? No one in the eastern city dares to go against the Liu family. Clap! Qin Feiyong clapped his hands and laughed, amazing. It seems that the Liu family is not only able to do whatever they want in the Holy Palace, but also in the eastern city. Steward Liu narrowed his eyes and said, young man, you can't talk nonsense. Liu Ziyuan and Luan are in the Holy Palace, controlling the Resource Palace and deceiving everyone. The Liu family even asked the Treasure Pavilion to ban me. Am I talking nonsense? Qin Feiyong smirked. The crowd was shocked. The Liu family actually banned Qin Feiyong. Wasn't that too much? However, everyone in the city and even the entire spiritual state knew what the Liu family was like. But because of the Liu family's power, no one dared to talk behind their back. But this man and wolf actually said it in public? And in front of Steward Liu? What did they rely on to be so unbridled? Steward Liu's face darkened as he shouted, take them down. Stop. At this moment, someone shouted and a white-haired old man hurriedly ran out of the precious treasure pavilion. It was none other than the manager of the Eastern City Treasure Pavilion, Yin Yuanming. Qin Die followed Yin Yuanming. Seeing this, Qin Feiyong and the Wolf King looked at each other, and a hint of ridicule crept into their eyes. Steward Liu was slightly stunned. He turned to look at Yin Yuanming and frowned. Steward Yin, why are you doing this? Yin Yuanming landed beside the man and wolf and said, Qin Feiyong and the others are my treasure pavilion's honored guests. No one can take them away. The crowd was shocked. Just now, Qin Feiyong had personally admitted that Zhanbao Pavilion was banning him. But why did Yin Yuanming's attitude suddenly change? Could it be related to that jade box? If that was really the case, then what kind of treasure was hidden within the jade box? What could make Zhanbao Pavilion change their mind at the expense of offending the Liu family? Steward Liu and the group of men in black were also in disbelief. Qin Feiyong laughed. Steward Liu, didn't I say that someone would disagree? But you didn't believe me. What about now? Tell me, are you going to kill me on the street now? Steward Liu glanced at the man and wolf and then looked at Yin Yuanming. Steward Yin, I need an explanation. What a joke. Do we need to explain to the Liu family when we do things? Do you really think you can do whatever you want in the Eastern City? Get out of here. Yin Yuanming shouted. What a tough attitude. The crowd couldn't believe it. Let's go. Steward Liu waved his hand and led the group of men in black away. Old man, go back and tell Liu Tingting that I'm not interested in her. Don't come looking for me. Wolf King stood on Qin Feiyong's shoulder, waving his paws and laughing. Crack. Steward Liu clenched his hands and looked back at Wolf King. The killing intent in his eyes was undisguised. The show has just begun. Qin Feiyong pursed his lips and sneered. Yin Yuanming retracted his gaze and looked at Qin Feiyong with a smile. Brother Qin, please come in and talk. Wolf King said, we're not going in. Yin Yuanming was slightly taken aback. He smiled bitterly and said, actually, this old master was only acting on orders to ban you. Please forgive me. That's not what I'm talking about. Wolf King stretched out his paw and pointed at the two guards at the door. It's not that I don't want to go in, but they won't let me in. The two guards' eyes trembled. They had already expected that this ruffian wolf would deliberately make things difficult for them. Yin Yuanming said angrily, how dare you? Is that true? Do you think I'll lie? The last time I came, they wouldn't let me in no matter what I said. Wolf King looked at the two guards proudly. Steward, that's true. But we're also thinking for Treasure Pavilion. Because it's too reckless, we don't dare to let it in. The two guards hurried forward to explain. Yin Yuanming's face twitched. He had long heard of the ruffian wolf's deeds. He actually supported the two guards and did the right thing. But the situation was different now. This man and wolf were big investors. They couldn't offend them. Ahem. Yin Yuanming coughed dryly and shouted, everyone is a guest. Aren't you ruining the reputation of Treasure Pavilion by doing this? Apologize to it immediately. Master Wolf, I'm really sorry. We were blind. Please don't argue with us, Master Wolf. The two guards bowed. The Wolf King leaped down and shouted, clear the path ahead. Okay. Everyone make way. The two guards turned around and waved to the crowd in front of them. When they came to the gate, Wolf King stopped and looked up at the two guards unhappily. Yes, yes. The two guards nodded and stood on both sides of the gate. They bowed and said, Master Wolf, please come in. That's more like it. Next time wipe your eyes better. The Wolf King smiled proudly and strode into the precious Treasure Pavilion with his chest puffed out. That smug look on his face made the people around him roll their eyes. You're really something. Yin Yuanming mumbled and said with a smile, Brother Qin, please come in. Please. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Qin Die followed him and asked in a low voice, Qin Feiyang, what's in your jade box? At the beginning, when she handed the jade box to Yin Yuanming, and heard that it was from Qin Feiyang, Yin Yuanming didn't want it. But when he opened the jade box, Yin Yuanming immediately jumped up, and his attitude changed 180 degrees in an instant. Without a doubt, there must be some treasure in the jade box. Qin Feiyang said, didn't you see it? Qin Die whispered, I wanted to see it, but stewarding didn't let me. Qin Feiyang said, then don't ask. You'll know sooner or later anyway. Qin Die pouted and was a little dissatisfied. After a while, they came to the third floor and entered a VIP room. Yin Yuanming said with a smile, Die, go and make a pot of good tea. Remember to use the best tea leaves. I have to treat Brother Qin well. Okay. Qin Die nodded and turned to leave. Yin Yuanming pointed to the chair next to him and said with a smile, Brother Qin, please sit. Qin Feiyang didn't stand on ceremony. He sat down and said lightly, Stewardine, I didn't mention anything outside just now. I gave you enough face. Yes, yes, yes. Yin Yuanming nodded and smiled awkwardly. I admire Brother Qin's way of dealing with things. Qin Feiyang said, then let's not beat around the bush. Did the Lu family ask you not to sell the herbs to me? Yin Yuanming pondered for a moment and sighed deeply. He nodded and said, yes, it's the Lu family head's request. But we have our difficulties too. I understand. There are two supreme alchemists in the city. One is Murongjing, the other is Lu Xingchen. Murongjing keeps a low profile and never refines pills to outsiders. So you can only look for Lu Xingchen. Qin Feiyang said. Yin Yuanming looked at him in a daze and shook his head with a smile. Brother Qin is indeed unparalleled. At this moment, Qin Die came in with a pot of fragrant tea. Yin Yuanming waved his hand and said, Die, you can leave first. After Qin Die left, Yin Yuanming picked up the teapot and poured tea for Qin Feiyang. He sighed and said, although the Lu family's old ancestor is the city lord of East City, he wasn't very powerful before. Then why did it become like this now? Qin Feiyang frowned. It's because of Lu Xingchen. I believe you know the value of a supreme alchemist. The more people look for them, the more arrogant they become. Now, even if the Treasure Pavilion asks him to refine pills, it depends on his mood. Yin Yuanming shook his head with a trace of helplessness on his old face. Then, Yin Yuanming pushed the teacup in front of Qin Feiyang and said with a smile, Brother Qin, please have some tea. Ruffian Wolf, do you want to try it too? Not interested. Wolf King didn't care and smiled. But if there's wine, I can consider it. Yin Yuanming was stunned and said jokingly, I heard that last time you went to the Lu family to peep on Lu Tingting taking a bath because you drank too much. Wolf King said angrily, don't talk nonsense. I'm not a peeping Tom. I just happened to bump into her and took a few more glances. To be honest, her figure is not that good. Yin Yuanming shook his head and laughed. If the Lu family's patriarch heard this, he would be so angry that he would jump on the spot. Qin Feiyong picked up the teacup and took a sip. It was very mellow, but it was not the taste he liked. However, he still tasted it slowly and didn't say a word about the pill. Yin Yuanming didn't mention it either. Both of them were waiting for the other to speak, because the one who spoke first would be in a passive situation. Gradually, Yin Yuanming finally lost his patience. He took out the jade box and said with a smile, "Brother Qin, did you refine this supreme grade red fire-colored glass pill?" Qin Feiyong said with a smile, "Who knows?" Yin Yuanming felt bitter in his heart. Although this kid was young, he was cunning, because it was obvious that Qin Feiyong wanted him to show his sincerity first. After a moment of silence. Chapter 322. Qin Feiyong was waiting for this sentence. He put down the teacup and said word by word, "Shut down the Wang and Zheng families. Don't sell them a single healing pill or an ordinary weapon." The Wang family? The Zheng family? Yin Yuanming looked suspicious. Qin Feiyong said, "Wang Jian and Zheng Wu. So it's them." Yin Yuanming suddenly realized and asked, "You want to shut them out to avenge your maid?" Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows and shook his head. "Lu Hong is not my maid. She's my friend." "Friend?" Yin Yuanming was stunned and smiled apologetically. "Sorry. It's okay." Qin Feiyong waved his hand. Yin Yuanming said, "It's not a problem to shut them out, but I want to know how much benefit Brother Qin can bring to the treasure pavilion." Qin Feiyong grabbed the jade box and took out the red fire glass pill. The two dazzling pill patterns made Yin Yuanming's old eyes shine. Qin Feiyong played with the pill and said with a smile, "This pill is indeed made by me. I've tested it and found that it can increase one's cultivation by 3 small realms." Yin Yuanming stood up with shock in his eyes. Qin Feiyong smiled. "Manager Yin, now I want to ask you, how much benefit do you think I can bring to the treasure pavilion? If you can make 100 pills for us every month, I promise that the treasure pavilion will shut down the Wang and Zheng families. Listen, it's a total ban, including the entire spiritual state and all the cities. 100 pills? Manager Yin, you're really greedy. At most 10 pills a month, and the treasure pavilion will provide the herbs. We'll split the profits 50-50. This is the old rule of my alchemy. Of course, if you can help me shut down the Lu family, then it's a different story." Qin Feiyong smiled. "Shut down the Lu family?" Yin Yuanming's gaze trembled. This young man was really not afraid of trouble. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and said, "I wonder if Steward Yin has heard of the potential pill?" "What's a potential pill?" Yin Yuanming asked with a trace of doubt on his face. This time it was Qin Feiyong who was somewhat confused. Hadn't Li Ji already told Wang Hong about the medicinal ingredients for the potential pill? Why didn't Yin Yuanming know about it? Suddenly, he thought of one possibility. Could it be that Wang Hong didn't say it out loud? If that was the case, wouldn't he be able to make a fortune? With this thought in mind, Qin Feiyong raised his head and glanced at the VIP room. There was a desk next to it. He got up and walked to the desk, found a piece of white paper and started writing. Very soon, a list of items was written out. They were the ingredients for the potential pill. However, he was in the mood and only wrote down the names of a dozen medicinal herbs. Furthermore, the most precious 9 suns flower, snow crystal and fire ginseng were not included. Qin Feiyong grabbed the list, walked to the side of the tea table, handed it to Yin Yuanming, and said with a smile, "Take a look." Yin Yuanming looked at him suspiciously, took the list, and lowered his head to look at it carefully. Gradually, Yin Yuanming's eyes were even more confused. He raised his head to look at Qin Feiyong and asked, "What kind of pill is this?" "Interesting." Qin Feiyong couldn't help laughing secretly. Wang Hong really didn't say. But why didn't he say such an important thing? It seemed that he had to find time to ask Ren Wushuang. Temporarily putting aside his doubts, Qin Feiyong took back the list and said with a faint smile, "This is indeed a medicinal ingredient for a kind of pill. As for what kind of pill it is, we'll talk about it later." Yin Yuanming asked suspiciously, "What's the potential pill?" Qin Feiyong said, We'll talk about it later. Help me block the Wang family and the Zheng family first. In the future, I'll help Treasure Pavilion refine 10 red fire-colored glass pills with 2 patterns every month. Isn't this too little? Yin Yuanming frowned. Is it too little? Steward Yin, you should know that things are precious when they're rare. Think about it and give me an answer as soon as possible. Of course, if we can enter into a deep cooperation, I can guarantee that I'll definitely bring a lot of surprises to Treasure Pavilion in the future. Qin Feiyang smiled meaningfully. Surprises? Yin Yuanming was even more puzzled. He looked at him deeply and said with a smile, well, don't be in a hurry to leave. Wait a moment, I'll go and ask the Chief Pavilion Master. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. What about this red fire-colored glass pill? Yin Yuanming looked at the jade box again, his eyes full of desire. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, take it as a gift for the Chief Pavilion Master. Brother Qin is really a forthright person. Yin Yuanming was overjoyed. He grabbed the jade box and shouted, Jie, come in and help me entertain Brother Qin. Yes. Qin Jie entered the VIP room and answered respectfully. Excuse me for a moment. Yin Yuanming said with a smile and left in a hurry. Qin Jie suspiciously watched Yin Yuanming leave, then turned to Qin Feiyang. This is the first time I've seen Steward Yin treat a young man so politely. What kind of soup did you feed him? She was very curious. She finally realized that she had greatly underestimated this person when they first met. Soup? Qin Feiyang couldn't help but shake his head and laugh. For a businessman, profit was more important than anything else. Without profit, even if you really arranged a few women to do it, it wouldn't work, let alone soup. Qin Feiyang said, I need 10 portals and an image crystal. Get it for me. Okay. Qin Jie nodded and left quickly. Qin Feiyang immediately took out the image crystal and injected his genuine qi into it. A shadow quickly appeared. It was Ren Wuxia. He immediately said, I've heard about Lu Hong. Is she all right? Qin Feiyang said, she's fine now. Sister, I want to ask why Wang Hong didn't tell anyone about the ingredients for the potential pill? Ren Wuxia said, this is grandfather's order. He didn't say anything about you. Qin Feiyang suddenly understood and said, what about Lu Xingqian? When you talked to him last time, he seemed to have seen me. Ren Wuxia said disdainfully, with his arrogant character, even if he saw you, he wouldn't remember you. Qin Feiyang chuckled. Sister, no matter what, he's still your suitor. It's not good for you to say that, is it? Ren Wuxia's face darkened. He said angrily, how dare you make fun of your sister? Are you itching for a beating? Qin Feiyang hurriedly waved his hand and said, I wouldn't dare. I'm just telling the truth. Ren Wuxia rolled his eyes at him and sighed. I'll be honest with you. Grandfather wanted me to go to the inner hall a long time ago. It's because of that Lu Xingqian that I kept delaying it. Qin Feiyang frowned. It seemed that Ren Wuxia really hated Lu Xingqian. Duh. A series of steady footsteps sounded. Sister, I still have something to deal with. Let me check the time later. If I'm free, I'll go and see you. After saying that, Qin Feiyang put away the image crystal. Almost at the next moment, Yin Yuanming walked into the VIP room and said with a smile, Brother Qin, the Chief Pavilion Master has agreed to cooperate with you. The Chief Pavilion Master also said, it's not impossible to ban the Lu family. The key is how much profit Brother Qin can bring to the Treasure Pavilion. Yin Yuanming added. Qin Feiyang said, then ban the Wang family and the Zheng family first. We'll talk about the Lu family later. Yin Yuanming immediately took out a Qingkuan bag and said with a smile, here are 20 sets of medicinal materials for the red fire glass elixir. Brother Qin, you must refine them as soon as possible. Qin Feiyang took the Qingkuan bag, checked it carefully, and nodded. Come to the sacred hall tomorrow morning. But I can refine an elixir with 2 elixir patterns. I hope Steward Yin can keep it a secret for the time being. Keep it a secret? Yin Yuanming was stunned and frowned. I can understand keeping it a secret, but the people in the city are not stupid. Even if I don't say it, others will guess it. Previously he banned Qin Feiyang, but now he banned the Wang family and the Zheng family. Anyone with discerning eyes could see that all this had something to do with Qin Feiyang. When the red fire glass elixir with 2 elixir patterns was auctioned, others would definitely connect the dots. Qin Feiyong said with a smile, "A guess is just a guess, isn't it?" "That's right." Yin Yuanming nodded. As long as Treasure Pavilion denied it, even if people thought of it, they wouldn't be sure. Yin Yuanming said with a smile, "Then let's have a good cooperation." Good cooperation. Qin Feiyong smiled and put away the Qinkuan bag. He wasn't surprised by the Chief Pavilion Master's reply. The Wang family and the Zheng family were just small families. The value of a red fire glass elixir with 2 elixir patterns far exceeded the value of the 2 families. But the Lu family was different. As a super family in the city, and the Lu family's patriarch was the city lord of the East City, Treasure Pavilion had to consider the big picture. After all, it was easy to offend someone but difficult to repair the relationship. However, Qin Feiyong was confident of winning. Treasure Pavilion couldn't refuse because of his bargaining chip. But now was not the time to show it. After a while, Qin Die returned to the VIP room and gave Qin Feiyong a Qinkuan bag. 10 transmission doors and an image crystal were all in it. After Qin Feiyong paid the gold coins and established a contract with Yin Yuanming, he opened a transmission door and left. Qin Feiyong. Yin Yuanming didn't say anything. He was very confused. Why was it that such an outstanding young man had been unknown before? Qin Die said, "Manager, if there's nothing else, I'll go out first." "Wait." Yin Yuanming stopped her and said with a smile, "You've made a great contribution this time. Stay with me and help me take care of the affairs of Treasure Pavilion in the East City." "What?" Qin Die's body trembled. Wasn't this surprise a little too fast? Was she dreaming? "Give the order immediately. From today on, no one from the Wang family and the Zheng family is allowed to enter Treasure Pavilion, and no staff or guards are allowed to have private transactions with the Wang family and the Zheng family. If anyone violates this, they'll be kicked out of Treasure Pavilion and never be hired again." Yin Yuanming said coldly. "This?" Qin Die's red lips opened slightly and her face was full of disbelief. This was banning the Wang family and the Zheng family. What kind of agreement did Qin Feiyong and manager Yin reach? Yin Yuanming frowned and said unhappily, "What are you waiting for? Go now." "Yes." Qin Die answered respectfully and turned to leave quickly. Qin Feiyong, what kind of person are you?" Chapter 323. Central City District, Housemaster's Mansion. Qin Feiyong appeared in a courtyard out of thin air. The Wolf King was lying on his shoulder, its pair of black eyes scanning the surroundings. "Little girl, come out and welcome me." Suddenly, it let out a loud roar. Ren Wuxia, who was cultivating in the attic, suddenly frowned. Who had the guts to call her a little girl? When she walked out angrily and saw a man and a wolf, her anger was immediately replaced by joy. Ren Wuxia looked at the palm-sized Wolf King and said in surprise, "You can talk?" "Of course. Brother has already taken the barrier-breaking pill and the transformation pill." "How is it? Do you feel that brother has become more handsome?" Wolf King chuckled, jumped up, and landed on Ren Wuxia's shoulder. "Bah, so shameless." Ren Wuxia spat, but after this wolf cub became smaller, it was indeed lovable. "I didn't expect that so many things would happen as soon as you entered the temple. Do you need me to step in and help you mediate?" Ren Wuxia looked at Qin Feiyong and asked. "There's no need." Qin Feiyong shook his head and sneered. "Besides, I don't want to mediate. Since they want to use force, then I'll accompany them to play." "You really aren't afraid of trouble at all." Ren Wuxia rolled her eyes at him and laughed. "But it's good to teach them a lesson." Qin Feiyong chuckled and said, "While we're at it, we can also teach Lu Xingchen a lesson." "That's right. That idiot should take a piss and look at himself. He actually dares to touch my little girl Ren." "Little girl Ren, don't be afraid. Brother will protect you in the future." Wolf King patted Ren Wuxia's head with its claws and vowed. Ren Wuxia's blue veins bulged. He angrily said, "When did I become your family's? Also, don't hit my head or I'll chop it off." Wolf King resentfully retracted his claws and asked, "You there, where are Old Eagle and Blood Eagle? Why haven't I seen them in the past few times?" Ren Wuxiang rolled his eyes and said, "When I came back, Old Eagle took Shuang to the deep mountains outside the city, saying that he wanted to train Shuang properly. Would it be so kind? I think it must be looking for an opportunity to kill the blood eagle, Wolf King said disdainfully. Qin Feiyong nodded. That might be possible. After all, Old Eagle didn't like the blood eagles from the start. What are you two talking about? They are getting along very well now. Don't try to drive a wedge between them. Ren Wuxia glared fiercely at the man and the wolf. These two bastards really had bad intentions. Qin Feiyong smiled embarrassedly and said, let's get down to business. Sister, have you opened the door of potential? No. Ren Wuxia shook his head. Qin Feiyong took out 3 potential pills and smiled. Here. Ren Wuxia's eyes lit up, and he didn't stand on ceremony and kept them. Qin Feiyong said, Sister, there's something I want you to help me with. I knew you wouldn't be so kind. Ren Wuxia rolled his eyes and said, Speak, what is it? Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed and said, Help me sweep the medicinal herbs in the various cities of the spiritual state. Sweep? Ren Wuxia was shocked and asked, What medicinal herbs? Qin Feiyong said, Let's go to the house first. I'll make a few lists for you. Then follow me. Ren Wuxia led the man and wolf into the attic and came to a study. Qin Feiyong walked to the desk and quickly made 3 lists of medicinal herbs. They were the potential pill, and the Juka yellow dragon pill. After Ren Wuxia looked through them one by one, he said suspiciously, I know this list, it's the potential pill, but why can't I understand the medicinal herbs on the other 2 lists? You'll know in the future, I guarantee you'll be shocked. Qin Feiyong smiled mysteriously. Brat, you're still keeping me in suspense in front of me, are you looking for a beating? Ren Wuxia pretended to be angry. Qin Feiyong chuckled and took out a Qiankuan bag. There are more than 20 billion gold coins here. I believe it's enough to sweep the medicinal herbs in all the cities. Originally, these gold coins were all managed by Lu Hong. But now, Lu Hong was focused on cultivating, and he didn't want to disturb Lu Hong, so he temporarily managed it. More than 20 billion. Ren Wuxia was shocked. She knew that this cheap brother of hers was rich, but she didn't expect him to be this rich. In the entire spiritual state, other than Lu Xingchen, no other young person could take out more than 20 billion at once. The most shocking thing was that he actually used so much gold coins to buy medicinal herbs. Wasn't he afraid of losing money? Qin Feiyong saw the doubt in Ren Wuxia's heart and smiled confidently. I definitely won't lose money, maybe I can earn back my capital with just 1 pill. Bullshit. Ren Wuxia rolled her eyes. She had never heard of any medicinal pill that could be worth more than 20 billion. Whether it's bullshit or not, you'll know when the time comes. Oh right, when you go buy medicinal herbs you better change your appearance first. After all, your status is too high and will attract the attention of the treasure pavilion. I'll let the white-eyed wolf go with you. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask it, but you can't let the white-eyed wolf be exposed in front of others. If the gold coins aren't enough, you can pay for it first, and I'll pay you back double in the future. Qin Feiyong smiled. Okay, I'll just make a trip. Who told me to have a troublesome brother like you? Ren Wuxia sighed. Then I'll wait for your good news. Qin Feiyong chuckled, opened a portal, and directly returned to alchemy room number 2. He entered the castle and began to copy the battle formula. Brat, you really know how to order people around. Ren Wuxia cursed in her heart, lowered her head and suspiciously looked at the list of potential pill and Juka yellow dragon pill, and asked Wolf Cub, do you know what medicinal herbs these are? I don't know. Wolf King shook his head. You really don't know? Ren Wuxia had a look of disbelief. Wolf King said helplessly, I really don't know, little Qinzi didn't tell me. Ren Wuxia put away the 3 lists and said, okay. Find a place to hide, we'll leave immediately. Where should I hide? Wolf King glanced at Ren Wuxia's towering chest, secretly laughed, and directly burrowed into Ren Wuxia's chest. Smells so good. It's so soft. So smooth. It's simply too erotic. I'm going to have a nosebleed. Okay. I'll treat this as my home from now on. Lu Xingchen, you idiot, you've chased her for so long. But you haven't even touched her hand. Look at me. How long has it been? And I've already conquered her and occupied this precious place. I have to admit I'm really handsome. It was intoxicated and enjoying it, and it even rubbed hard, feeling very proud. However, just as it was indulging in fantasy, Ren Wuxuang suddenly grabbed its tail, twisted it out and said angrily, "What are you doing?" Wolf King's heart skipped a beat, and he said innocently, "Didn't you ask me to hide?" Ren Wuxuang said angrily, "But you can't hide here." Wolf King's eyes flashed with a sly look, and he said unhappily, "What's the matter? I'm not a human, I'm just a wolf, I won't do anything to you. You're not only an alpha wolf, you're also a pervert. You want to take advantage of me, you're still too inexperienced. Hide in my sleeve if you dare to do anything, I'll castrate you on the spot." Ren Wuxuang smiled coldly, his eyes full of disdain. Sigh. Extreme joy begets sorrow. It wasn't easy to get this precious place, and it's gone just like that. Wolf King unwillingly burrowed into the sleeve, wailing in his heart, "Little rascal." Ren Wuxuang rolled his eyes, took out a transformation pill, changed his appearance slightly, and went to the treasure pavilion in the 4 major districts. "Little girl Ren, you have to go to another city." "I know, you don't need to remind me. Can you let me go to another place? It's too stuffy here, and it's too bumpy, my heart is about to shake out." "No. Let's discuss it." "There's no discussion. I'm so pure. How can I take advantage of you? You're thinking too much. Get lost." At the same time, the disciples of the Wang family and the Zheng family who were trading in the treasure pavilion, or bidding for treasures in the auction house, were forcibly expelled. The matter of the treasure pavilion banning the 2 families also spread like a plague in the East City. Breaking news, breaking news. The Wang family and the Zheng family were banned by the treasure pavilion. What? There's actually such a thing? What's the reason? It's related to Qin Feiyang. And there's even gossip that this is Qin Feiyang's idea. What an incredible young man. People were talking about it. When Wang Jian and Zheng Wu received the news, they immediately rushed to the treasure pavilion to argue with Yin Yuanming. However, they were stopped by Qin Die. "Why is the treasure pavilion doing this? How did we offend you?" The 2 of them roared at Qin Die in exasperation. Qin Die said, "Please calm down, it's an order from above, we're just following orders." Wang Jian said angrily, "I want to see Yin Yuanming." "I'm sorry, Stewardine said he won't see any of you. If you have any dissatisfaction, you can go directly to the Chief Pavilion Lord." "But I don't mind telling you the truth. The Chief Pavilion Lord agreed to ban your families. Please go back, or I'll have to ask someone to escort you out," Qin Die said coldly. Wang Jian said, "No need, we can leave on our own." "But I want to ask, is this Qin Feiyang's idea?" Qin Die said, "Yes. He's the one who wants to ban you." Wang Jian and Zheng Wu left. They couldn't figure out how Qin Feiyang could be so capable. In the Wang family's meeting hall. At this moment, all of the clan elders were gathered here. Patriarch, being banned by the treasure pavilion is no small matter. If this goes on, it will affect the future of our family. Although we have some savings in the treasury, we have a lot of people. In a few months, those savings will be used up, and it will be the end of our Wang family. Patriarch, we can understand that you want to protect your son, but he has committed such a grave mistake. Even the sacred temple won't let him go. You can't implicate our entire family just because of him. Yes, you have to personally bring Wang Fei to the sacred temple today and beg for Qin Feiyang's forgiveness. Otherwise, we'll remove you from your position as patriarch." The elders all said angrily. Wang Jian sat on the main seat and glanced at the group of angry elders with a gloomy face. At the same time, the same thing was happening in the Zheng family's meeting hall. Chapter 324. The 2 families were in chaos. Wang Jian and Zheng Wu were also forced into a corner by a group of elders. But at this moment the Lu family came. They said that if the 2 families needed cultivation resources in the future, they could buy them from the Lu family. The price was the same as the Zhanbao pavilion. With the help of the Lu family, the elders of the Wang and Zheng families were appeased. However, the big shots of the Zhanbao pavilion were furious. The reason for that was because the Lu family's actions were simply trying to steal their business. But for some reason the Zhanbao pavilion didn't say anything. A day and a night passed. The next morning, Qin Feiyang finally finished the last bit of the second stroke. His cultivation base also soared to the 3-star Battle King. In his Chi-Si, the purple gold dragon aura, flaming battle aura, and red sword aura became denser, emitting a bright light. I've been delayed in the ocean of despair for a few months. I have to work harder now. Qin Feiyong let out a long sigh and glanced at Lu Hong. He didn't disturb her and directly left the castle. Then he rushed into the alchemy room and refined the 20 red fire-colored glaze pills. Dong! Before he could catch his breath, there was a hurried knock on the door. You're on time. Qin Feiyong muttered, took out a jade box and put 10 red fire-colored glass pills in it. Then he walked to the door and opened it. But it wasn't Yin Yuanming. It was Huang San. Huang San immediately said, Senior brother Qin, something bad happened. Qin Feiyong frowned and said, Come in and talk. After Huang San came in, Qin Feiyong closed the stone door and entered the resting room one after the other. Huang San said, Senior brother Qin, according to what I heard, the Wang and Zheng families were in chaos, but at this time the Lu family helped them. It's the Lu family again. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed with a cold light. Huang San frowned. There's one more thing that puzzles me. The Lu family is undoubtedly trying to steal business from Zhanbao Pavilion by doing this, but why hasn't Zhanbao Pavilion done anything yet? Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows. He sat on the chair and pondered. Suddenly, a trace of understanding appeared in his eyes. They are waiting for me. Waiting for you. Huang San was suspicious. If Zhanbao Pavilion starts to suppress the Lu family now, they won't be able to get any benefits from me. So, Zhanbao Pavilion is waiting for me to show my bargaining chip. Qin Feiyong said. Huang San looked like he didn't quite understand. If you can't figure it out, then don't think about it. Try not to meddle in my affairs. It won't do you any good. I also happen to have something to give you. Qin Feiyong took out an image crystal and threw it to Huang San. Is this for me? Huang San held it in his hands and looked at him in surprise. Qin Feiyong nodded. If you have any news in the future, don't come to me face to face. Just send me a message through the image crystal. Thank you, Senior Brother Qin. I promise that I'll serve you wholeheartedly in the future. Huang San was overjoyed. This was a real gold mine. What Lu Ziyuan, what Xiaohong, what Dongchang, compared to this person, they were nothing but dog farts. Qin Feiyong smiled. All right, you can leave now. Yes. Huang San replied respectfully. He turned and walked out of the lounge happily. As soon as he opened the stone door, 2 figures entered his sight. It was Steward Yin and Elder D. Huang San hurriedly put away the image crystal and cupped his hands. Greetings, Steward Yin and Elder D. You're finally here. Qin Feiyong muttered. He got up and walked to the door and bowed to the 2. Elder D asked Qin Feiyong, Steward Yin said he wanted to talk to you. Is it true? Yes. Qin Feiyong nodded. All right, you guys talk. With a smile, Elder D turned around and left. Huang San followed him. Qin Feiyong took out a jade box and handed it to Yin Yuanming. Check it first. If you find it missing, I won't admit it. Yin Yuanming opened the jade box and looked at the 10 red fire-colored glass pills lying quietly inside. His old eyes lit up. Qin Feiyong smiled. Yes, right? Then please go back. Yes. Yin Yuanming was stunned. Was he going to drive him away? He hurriedly put away the jade box and asked, Didn't you want to ban the Lu family? Why didn't you do anything? Finally, I can't help but start probing. Qin Feiyong smiled and shook his head. I don't plan to do that now. You don't plan to do that? Yin Yuanming was stunned. I have to remind you that the Lu family is helping the Wang and Zheng families now. It's impossible for them to hand over Wang Fei and Zheng Chuan. If the precious treasure pavilion isn't anxious, why should I be? Am I right? Qin Feiyong shook his head and smiled. Yin Yuanming's face darkened. He said angrily, You brat. How dare you scheme against the precious treasure pavilion? Do you have any conscience? Since when did I scheme against you? Qin Feiyong felt a little wronged. Didn't you already know that the Lu family would help the Wang and Zheng families? If that's the case, the precious treasure pavilion will ban the Lu family before you say anything. You brat, you're really good at scheming. Yin Yuanming was filled with righteous indignation. His face was extremely ugly. Qin Feiyong was stunned. He smiled bitterly. Do you really think that I'm good at scheming? Yin Yuanming shook his head. I don't believe it. I just feel that we've been tricked by you. I really didn't expect it. Qin Feiyong looked helpless. However, it's really unwise for the Lu family to get involved now. Yin Yuanming nodded. Indeed. Not only will this anger the precious treasure pavilion, but it will also deepen the conflict between the two of you. Qin Feiyong said, I don't care. The conflict has already been formed. Then when do you plan to take action? Let me tell you. The chief pavilion master said that the precious treasure pavilion can't ban the Lu family unilaterally. Yin Yuanming said. Banning the Lu family meant offending Lu Xingqian. If they didn't tie Qin Feiyong to the same rope, where would the precious treasure pavilion find supreme-grade pills in the future? Qin Feiyong smiled. Let's wait a little longer. I guarantee that the Lu family will regret it when the time comes. Okay. Just because of what you said, the precious treasure pavilion will fight with you until the end. No, cooperate until the end. Yin Yuanming was a little incoherent. It was obvious how excited he was at the moment. If it was someone else, he wouldn't have believed it. How could a little battle king be able to shake a super family like the Lu family? Let alone make the Lu family regret it. But he had absolute confidence in the young man in front of him. Qin Feiyong thought for a while and smiled. If you believe me, these 10 red fire-colored glass pills can be auctioned later. Okay. Then I'll let the Lu family be arrogant for a while. Then I'll leave first. Contact me if you need anything. Yin Yuanming smiled and turned into a ray of light and left quickly. Lu family, you're digging your own grave. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed coldly. He turned around and went into the alchemy room. He closed the stone door and continued to make battle chi pills. In fact, he was very grateful to the Lu family. If the Lu family didn't compete with the precious treasure pavilion, even if the precious treasure pavilion cooperated with him, it would only be a relationship of mutual benefit. This kind of relationship was not reliable. Once the Lu family gave the precious treasure pavilion enough benefits, the precious treasure pavilion would definitely betray them. But now the precious treasure pavilion wanted to suppress the Lu family more than anyone else. After making a few thousand battle chi pills, Qin Feiyong went back to the castle and continued to copy the battle formula. A battle chi pill with 2 veins contained a lot of energy. This also saved him a lot of herbs. Time was like the sand in one's fingers. Half a month went by. Qin Feiyong had already copied half of the 3rd stroke of the battle formula. But today he had to stop. Because Wolf King and Ren Wuxuang had returned. Closing the iron book, Qin Feiyong opened the portal and went to Ren Wuxuang's courtyard. A man and a wolf were sitting in a pavilion and chatting. Qin Feiyong strode over and smiled. How was it? How much did you get? Haha, the spiritual state is indeed a place full of outstanding people and rich in resources. We got more than 200 sets of herbs for the potential pill. Wolf King said proudly. So many. Qin Feiyong was also shocked. He expected to get 50 or 60 sets, which was already amazing. But he didn't expect to get more than 200 sets. We have separated the herbs for the 3 types of pills. You can take them and organize them yourself. As for the gold coins, we spent about 10 billion. The rest is in the Qiankuan bag. Ren Wuxuang took out 4 Qiankuan bags and threw them on the stone table. Only 10 billion? Qin Feiyong was stunned, but on second thought it made sense. After all, the precious treasure pavilion didn't know that these herbs could be used to refine the potential pill, and Juka yellow dragon pill. They also didn't know the magical effects of these 3 pills. If they knew, the price would definitely skyrocket. Huff! He took a deep breath, sat on the stone bench, grabbed a Qiankuan bag and carefully organized it. After a full 6 hours, he finally completely organized the herbs for the 3 types of pills. He had gathered 230 sets of potential pills. Potential pill, 52 sets. Juka yellow dragon pill, 61 sets. If all of them were to be auctioned, it would be more than 10 billion. It would definitely be dozens or even hundreds of times more. Moreover, there were still many herbs left that couldn't be gathered. After all, some of the herbs were very ordinary and easy to find. Some of the herbs were very rare and difficult to find. There were naturally a lot of ordinary medicinal herbs, but there were naturally very few rare ones. But at this moment, An old figure suddenly descended in the sky above the courtyard. It was the Academy Master. Qin Feiyong hurriedly put away all the herbs. Swish! The Academy Master's figure flashed and instantly landed in the pavilion, smiling. You guys are here too. Greetings, Academy Master. Qin Feiyong hurriedly got up and bowed. Don't be so formal. The Academy Master waved his hand and asked curiously, what are you hiding? Why are you sneaking around? Nothing. Qin Feiyong scratched his head, feeling a little guilty. If the Academy Master knew that he had asked Ren Wuxia to sweep the herbs, he would definitely beat him up on the spot. Is there really nothing? The Academy Master asked, becoming more and more curious. Ren Wuxia said angrily, Grandpa, what are you doing? Even if Feiyong is hiding something, does it have anything to do with you? You're so nosy. The Academy Master was stunned, glancing back and forth between Ren Wuxia and Qin Feiyong, and sighed deeply. A grown girl can't be kept at home. Chapter 325. You're still scolding me? The mansion master's face immediately darkened, and he said, Pack up. I'll send you to the inner hall immediately. Ren Wuxia shook his head. I'm not going that damn place. What's so good about it? You're already so old you can't possibly stay by an old man's side forever, right? Today you have to go. That's why I'm here. The mansion master said with a straight face. Humph. Ren Wuxia snorted coldly, turned his head away, pouted and started to sulk. A deep sense of powerlessness rose in the mansion master's heart. Suddenly, his eyes lit up as he looked at Qin Feiyong, giving Qin Feiyong a look. Qin Feiyong looked a little embarrassed and said silently, That's not good, right? The mansion master immediately glared at him with a threatening expression. Qin Feiyong felt bitter in his heart. This was a matter between you grandfather and grandson. Why did you drag him into it? Sigh. He sighed and laughed. Sis, the mansion master is right. You can't stay by his side forever, you should go. Pausing for a moment, Qin Feiyong continued. If you really hate that Lu Xingqian, just give him a slap. He definitely won't harass you again. Ren Wuxia couldn't help but laugh. What kind of rotten idea was this? To think that he could think of it. However, his vexed mood was a lot better now. She looked at the mansion master and nodded. All right, I'll go. But you're alone at home, you have to take good care of yourself. The mansion master looked at Qin Feiyong gratefully, then looked at Ren Wuxia and smiled. Although grandfather is old, his bones are still very strong, don't worry. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed slightly and laughed. Sis, wait for me. Finished. Without waiting for Ren Wuxia to react, he directly opened the teleportation gate and returned to the second alchemy room. A few hundred breaths passed. He refined 2 potential pills, 1 9-chew yellow dragon pill, and stored it in a jade box. Immediately after, without stopping, he opened the teleportation door and appeared in the pavilion. He handed the jade box to Ren Wuxia and said, This is for you. What is it? Ren Wuxia opened the jade box, and rays of dazzling light immediately bloomed. Ah, why are there 2 pill veins? Ren Wuxia was bewildered. 2? The manor head was taken aback for a moment before he hurried over as well. If he didn't look, he wouldn't have known, but when he did, he was shocked. It was actually a top-grade pill with 2 pill veins. Furthermore, even he had never seen these 3 medicinal pills before. 2 of them were completely blood red, as if they were condensed from blood, emitting a strange fragrance. They were the potential pills. The other one was yellow in color. At first glance, it looked like a ball of mud, but its surface was round and flawless. This 9 tunes yellow dragon pill can increase one's cultivation. You can take it at any time. These 2 potential pills can open the 4th and 5th level of the Gate of Potential. You will need to break through to the 9-star Combat Emperor before you can consume them. Qin Feiyong explained in a low voice. There's actually such a pill? Ren Wuxia's eyes revealed a strange light. The palace lord's old eyes were also staring angrily, filled with disbelief. Qin Feiyong whispered, Sis, don't leak out these 2 medicinal pills. He added, in addition, the 3 potential pills that I gave you can only be consumed when you reach the 9-star Combat Emperor. Yes. Ren Wuxia nodded, put away the jade box and smiled. Feiyong, thank you. Qin Feiyong said, "We are all family. There is no need to be so polite. Moreover, the person who should be thanking you should be me." "You mean those medicinal herbs?" Ren Wuxuang was bewildered. Qin Feiyong nodded. Ren Wuxuang couldn't help but smile. It turned out that Qin Feiyong had asked her to help clear out these two medicinal herbs. This cheap brother was truly treacherous. If the people from the treasure pavilion were to find out, they would probably vomit blood from anger. "What are the two of you talking about?" The palace lord looked at the two of them suspiciously. "Nothing." The two of them shook their heads at the same time. "There must be something wrong," the palace lord muttered secretly, but he didn't ask any more questions. He smiled and said, "Shuang'er, quickly go and clean up." "Yes." Ren Wuxuang nodded, turned around and walked towards the pavilion. The palace lord asked in a low voice, "Qin Feiyong, where did you get these pill recipes?" "This white-eyed wolf, we should also go." "Senior, farewell." Qin Feiyong opened a portal and ran in without looking back. "Old man, see you later." Wolf King waved his claws and slipped into the portal. The palace lord was stunned. Two little brats. After coming back to his senses, he couldn't help but curse, but there was a hint of a smile in his old eyes as he whispered, "Interesting little guys." On the street in front of the treasure pavilion, Qin Feiyong and Wolf King appeared out of thin air. "Look, it's Qin Feiyong and that ruffian wolf. They're here again. What do they want to do in the East City this time? It's too extravagant to use the portal every time." Now, the man and wolf were considered celebrities in the East City. As soon as they appeared, they attracted a lot of attention. Extravagant? Hearing the discussion, Qin Feiyong's face couldn't help but twitch. The 10 portals he bought last time hadn't been used much, and now there were only 4 left. Everyone only saw the bright side, but they didn't know how helpless he was in his heart. If it weren't for the distance between the Sacred Palace and the East City, he would really be reluctant to use the portal. "Greetings, young Master Qin." The 2 guards at the door saw Qin Feiyong coming and hurriedly cupped their hands and bowed. Cough, cough. The Wolf King coughed dryly, looking displeased. The 2 guards looked at each other, feeling helpless. They cupped their hands and said, "Greetings, Lord Wolf. Please come in." "Humph." Wolf King snorted and walked into the treasure pavilion with his head held high. Qin Feiyong smiled and said, "It's just so naughty. Please don't take it to heart." "It's fine, it's fine." The 2 waved their hands. Now this man and wolf were Manager Yin's favorites. Would they dare to argue with them? Qin Feiyong shook his head and smiled, then entered the treasure pavilion. Qin Die came up and smiled, "You're here." Qin Feiyong looked at Qin Die and found that she wasn't wearing her work uniform. He smiled and said, "Miss Jie, you seem a little different today." Qin Die said, "I'm staying with Manager Yin to help him with the treasure pavilion." Qin Feiyong was stunned and smiled, "So you've been promoted. Congratulations." "It's all thanks to you." Qin Die looked grateful. She asked, "Are you here to see Manager Yin?" Qin Feiyong nodded. Qin Die said, "Go up by yourself. The VIP room on the 3rd floor." "Okay, let's talk another day." Qin Feiyong smiled, then grabbed Wolf King and walked up to the 3rd floor. Wolf King said unhappily, "Why did you drag me along when you're going to talk business? What do you think?" Qin Feiyong glared at it. If he let it run around the treasure pavilion by itself, who knew what kind of trouble it would cause? The VIP room. As soon as Qin Feiyong walked in, Yin Yuanming stood up to welcome him. "Brother Qin, I've been waiting for you for so long. Finally you're here. Come, come, come. This way, please." Yin Yuanming greeted Qin Feiyong warmly. They sat opposite each other at the coffee table. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and asked, "Did the Liu family do anything in the past half a month? I'm angry at the mention of them. Did you know? 2 days ago, Steward Liu came to the treasure pavilion to buy a large batch of herbs." Yin Yuanming said angrily, "Did you sell them to him?" Qin Feiyong frowned. Yin Yuanming said helplessly, "You didn't give me a definite answer. How can I not sell them?" "Okay, let's forget about it. I'm here to ban the Liu family." Qin Feiyong took out a jade box and placed it on the coffee table. Yin Yuanming's eyes lit up. He grabbed the jade box and opened it. There were 2 blood-red elixirs inside. There was a glaring elixir pattern on them. Why is there only one elixir pattern? In Yuanming was very excited. However, when he saw that there was only one elixir pattern, he immediately frowned. Qin Feiyang smiled. For this kind of elixir, even if there is only one elixir pattern, it's still priceless. In Yuanming was surprised. Qin Feiyang said, I've never auctioned this kind of elixir before. Before he could finish, In Yuanming frowned and said, how do you know it's priceless if you haven't auctioned it before? Are you playing with me? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Then he shook his head and laughed. Let me show you something. Qin Feiyang pulled open his clothes. A red door-shaped imprint instantly entered In Yuanming's sight. This is... In Yuanming frowned. He felt like he knew what this door-shaped imprint was, but he couldn't recall it at the moment. Potential imprint. Qin Feiyang reminded. That's right. It's the potential imprint. In Yuanming suddenly stood up and stared at the door-shaped imprint. His eyes were filled with disbelief. This lad had actually opened the door of potential. No. He first took out the elixir and then showed the potential imprint. Could it be that these two elixirs? In Yuanming lowered his head and stared at the two potential elixirs in the jade box. His eyes shone with a dazzling light. Qin Feiyang tidied his clothes and smiled. This is the potential elixir that you've always wanted to know about. There's actually an elixir that can open the door of potential in this world. In Yuanming felt like he was dreaming. It was too unreal. He had been in the spiritual state for so many years and had seen everything. However, this was the first time he had heard of something so unbelievable. Are you sure? He swallowed his saliva and looked up at Qin Feiyang. He was extremely nervous. If this potential elixir could really open the door of potential, it would be more than priceless. It would be a priceless treasure. I'm sure. Lu Hong, white-eyed wolf, and I have all opened the third level of the door of potential. Qin Feiyang nodded and said with a smile. Manager Yin was like a bolt from the blue. He sat down on the chair and waved his hand. Let this old man calm down first. It was too shocking. For a moment he couldn't digest it. Qin Feiyang wasn't in a hurry. While drinking tea, he asked Wolf King about his experience in the past half a month through telepathy. A moment later, Manager Yin suddenly stood up, grabbed the jade box and left in a hurry. Soon, an explosive piece of news spread like wildfire through the entire city at an astonishing speed. Chapter 326. What? Even the Lu family has been banned by the Precious Treasure Pavilion. What's going on? Everyone was bewildered. This was too crazy. Not only was the Lu family banned, but it was a complete ban. This was cutting off all the Lu family's escape routes. Swoosh. Not long after the news spread, a black figure descended in the sky above the Precious Treasure Pavilion. It was Housekeeper Lu. He looked down at the Precious Treasure Pavilion and shouted angrily, In Yuanming, what is the meaning of this? Swoosh. In Yuanming flew out of the Precious Treasure Pavilion and faced Housekeeper Lu. He said indifferently, I still want to ask, what is the meaning of this? Housekeeper Lu's face darkened. I don't understand. You don't understand? Then let me give you a reminder. The Precious Treasure Pavilion banned the Wang and Zheng families. Not only did the Lu family interfere, but you also came to the Precious Treasure Pavilion to buy large amounts of herbs and resell them to them. May I ask what the Lu family thinks of the Precious Treasure Pavilion by doing this? In Yuanming said. His cold gaze was like a sharp blade that pierced through one's heart. Housekeeper Lu frowned and said in a low voice, You should know that the Lu family is not targeting the Precious Treasure Pavilion. It's the Precious Treasure Pavilion that ordered the banning of the Wang and Zheng families. Even if it's not targeting us, it's disrespecting us and embarrassing us. In Yuanming said. Housekeeper Lu was speechless. At the end of the day, the Lu family was indeed in the wrong. However, no one in the Lu family regretted this decision. Housekeeper Lu said, I don't want to talk nonsense with you. Tell me directly. Do you want to remove the ban? In Yuanming said indifferently, I'm sorry. The ban was personally issued by the Chief Pavilion Lord. I don't have the authority to remove it, nor do I want to remove it. The Chief Pavilion Lord really gave the order personally. Housekeeper Lu's heart skipped a beat and he sneered. Since you're so heartless, don't blame the Lu family for being unjust. Before I leave, the family head asked me to tell you something. If you don't remove the ban, don't even think about getting a supreme grade pill from the Lu family in the future. This was the prelude to falling out. However, with Qin Feiyang's addition, the Precious Treasure Pavilion was no longer afraid of the Lu family's threat. They were confident now. Yin Yuanming chuckled. Sure. This old man wants to see how long your Lu family's meager savings can last without my Precious Treasure Pavilion's supply of medicinal herbs. How could he not be threatened? Steward Lu was secretly shocked as he asked in a deep voice, Have you reached an agreement with Qin Feiyang? Yin Yuanming said, It's none of your business. Precious Treasures Pavilion doesn't welcome you. Scram. Housekeeper Lu's expression changed, and he hurriedly said, Wait, we can discuss this. At most, my Lu clan will not support the Wang clan and Zheng clan. It has nothing to do with the Wang and Zheng families now. I'll be frank with you. Zhanbao Pavilion wants to suppress your Lu family. Even if the Lu family has Lu Xingqian, a top-notch alchemist, it's still just a family. If you want to climb over my Precious Treasure Pavilion's head, not just the Precious Treasure Pavilion, even the Manor Lord and the current Emperor wouldn't allow it. Go back and tell Patriarch Lu to weigh his own weight. Don't bring the Lu clan to destruction because of your ambition. Yin Yuanming sneered and turned into a stream of light, disappearing into the Precious Treasure Pavilion. Damn bastard! Housekeeper Lu cursed, and with a belly full of anger, he turned and flew into the air. I've been in the city for so long, but this is the first time I've seen Precious Treasure Pavilion cause such a big commotion. Looks like the Lu clan has really pissed Precious Treasure Pavilion off this time. The Lu clan is in for a treat. If this continues, the Lu clan will decline sooner or later. The crowd on the street below discussed. In the VIP room. Haha, Qin Feiyang, you didn't see Housekeeper Lu's face at that time. That was so satisfying. Yin Yuanming laughed, finally venting his anger. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, Then you can start auctioning the scarlet-colored glass pellet now? That's right. Once the two-striped scarlet fire-glazed pill is born, the Lu clan will definitely regret it. Also, the East, West, North and South districts will hold the auction at the same time. Yin Yuanming's eyes flickered. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, Remember, don't let the Lu clan's people fool you, especially when the potential pill is being auctioned. Yin Yuanming said, That's a must. I'll let people use the Heaven's Eye Stone to check them one by one. Not even a fly can sneak in. Alright then, I'll go back first. Qin Feiyang got up and smiled. Wait. Yin Yuanming reached out to stop him and said with a smile, I've prepared some gifts, please accept them. He took out a Qingkuan bag and handed it to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang checked it suspiciously, and his eyes trembled slightly. There were actually 50 portals inside. That was equivalent to 5 billion gold coins. This Precious Treasure Pavilion was really generous. Are you satisfied? Yin Yuanming asked with a smile. Thanks. Qin Feiyang cupped his hands and did not stand on ceremony, directly keeping it. Yin Yuanming reached out and smiled. I look forward to our further cooperation. I won't let you down. Qin Feiyang also reached out, and when they shook hands, a bright smile crept onto their faces. Immediately, Qin Feiyang opened the portal and left with Wolf King. Yin Yuanming also immediately took out the image crystal and contacted the stewards of the Precious Treasure Pavilions in the other 3 districts to discuss the auction. Soon, another explosive piece of news spread across the continent. The Precious Treasure Pavilions in the 4 districts would auction 2 red fire-colored glass elixirs at the same time tomorrow morning. This news was even more shocking than the Precious Treasure Pavilions banning the Lu family. For a time, the streets and alleys were discussing this matter. Countless families in the city were also rubbing their hands and preparing for the auction tomorrow. The Lu family. In the meeting hall, a middle-aged man with a rough face sat on the main seat. He was wearing a purple robe and his body was straight. His pair of dark eyes were extremely bright, and there was a kind of majesty between his brows. He was the current head of the Lu family, Lu Tianfeng. Below, Steward Lu stood respectfully and repeated Yin Yuanming's words without missing a word. Preposterous! How dare you threaten us? As soon as Steward Lu finished speaking, Lu Tianfeng angrily slapped the armrest of his chair. Steward Lu asked, Head, the precious treasure pavilions are obviously serious this time. What should we do? Although the Lu family is a family, we won't be bullied by everyone. Lu Tianfeng's eyes flashed coldly. Since the precious treasure pavilions want to fight with us, we will fight with them to the end. Steward Lu said worriedly. But the savings in our treasury won't last long. Lu Tianfeng waved his hand. It's okay. Luan is in charge of the resource hall of the sacred sanctum, and Xingchen has a high position in the inner sanctum. We can ask them for resources. Absolutely not. If this matter is discovered, I'm afraid even the sacred sanctum will ban the Lu family. They might even expel all the disciples of the Lu family from the sacred sanctum in a fit of anger. The most important thing is the patriarch. If he finds out, the consequences will be unimaginable. At that time, it will be the end of the Lu family. Steward Lu said hurriedly. Then what do you think we should do? We can't compromise with the precious treasure pavilions, right? Lu Tianfeng frowned. Steward Lu said, a real man knows when to yield and when to stand tall. Lu Tianfeng shook his head. No, I can't do that. Sigh. Steward Lu sighed deeply in his heart. The head of this generation was really not wise at all. At this moment, a burly man in black ran into the meeting hall in a panic and shouted, Head of the family, something bad has happened. Steward Lu's eyelids twitched, and a sense of uneasiness surged in his heart. Lu Tianfeng shouted, Why are you panicking? What is it? Speak. The burly man in black said, I just received news that tomorrow morning, the precious treasure pavilions in the 4 districts will auction 2 scarlet fire-colored glass pills at the same time. What? Steward Lu's body shook. Lu Tianfeng also stood up abruptly, his face full of disbelief. The news was released by the precious treasure pavilions. It can't be fake. And according to the precious treasure pavilions, a scarlet fire-colored glass pill with 2 scarlet fire-colored glass pills can increase one's cultivation by 3 small realms at once. The burly man in black said. Steward Lu stepped forward, grabbed the burly man in black's clothes and shouted, Is it true? The burly man in black smiled bitterly. Steward Lu, can the news released by the precious treasure pavilions be fake? Steward Lu let go of his hands and sat down weakly on the chair behind him. So the precious treasure pavilions already have a stronger alchemist, so they disregarded everything and directly fell out with the Lu family. He couldn't help but sigh. If they didn't ease the relationship with the precious treasure pavilions, the Lu family might really be destroyed because of this. Lu Tianfeng frowned. Who is this alchemist? Is it Qin Feiyang? No. The stewards of the precious treasure pavilions in the 4 districts denied it. The burly man in black said. If it's not Qin Feiyang, then who is it? Who would help the precious treasure pavilions against the Lu family? Lu Tianfeng's face had a touch of hostility. Steward Lu suddenly stood up and said in surprise, Could it be Murong Jing? It's possible. Lu Tianfeng nodded. Murong Jing's talent in alchemy was not inferior to Lu Xingchen's. She had been very low-key these years, so no one knew about her situation. Maybe after these years of hard work, she had a breakthrough in alchemy. Steward Lu, bring some people to the precious treasure pavilions tomorrow. No matter what, you have to sneak in and get the red fire-glaze pill for me. I'll also immediately tell the family members in the sacred palace to investigate Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing. Lu Tianfeng said in a low voice. Steward Lu nodded and asked, What about the Wang family and the Zheng family? Do you still want to help them? Lu Tianfeng said angrily, We can't even protect ourselves. Why should we care about them? All right, I'll tell them now. Steward Lu nodded and strode away with the burly man in black. Qin Feiyang, Murong Jing, don't let me find out it's you. Or I'll definitely kill you in the sacred palace. Lu Tianfeng's eyes flashed. Without the help of the Lu family, the Wang family and the Zheng family had internal strife again. And it was even fiercer than the last time. At last. Chapter 327. In Alchemy Room 2. Qin Feiyang was refining battle qi pills. The only thing he lacked now was battle qi pills. Ordinary battle qi pills were not good enough for him, so he had no choice but to work harder. The Wolf King was lying alone in the lounge, yawning. He looked at Qin Feiyong and said weakly, little Qin Zi, let me go out for a walk. I promise I won't do anything stupid. We're in a fight with the Lu family now, so you better behave yourself during this period. Qin Feiyong said without turning his head. Sigh. The Wolf King sighed deeply, his heart filled with helplessness. Before the first wave subsided, another wave arose. Why were there so many troublesome matters? Buzz. Suddenly, Qin Feiyong's image crystal began to move. He took it out and infused his battle chi into it. Fatso's shadow quickly appeared. Fatso immediately said, Boss, something's wrong. Not only was there an anxious look on the fatty's face, there was also a strong sense of anger. Qin Feiyong's eyelids twitched. He asked, what's wrong? Fatso said, you and Lu Hong guessed right. That damn guard captain really did rape Yan Nanshan. He even said that he wouldn't let Yan Nanshan leave prison alive. Damn it. Qin Feiyong's body emitted a piercing murderous aura. The herbs that were being refined in the cauldron were all destroyed in an instant. Fatso asked, what do we do now? Wolf King got up and ran to Qin Feiyong's shoulder. He shouted, nonsense, of course we're going to collect evidence. We're going to kill him. Okay, leave it to Fat Lord. Fatso nodded and said, by the way, Fat Lord has heard about what happened between you and the Lu family. Do you need Fat Lord's help? Qin Feiyong shook his head and said, no, you just focus on collecting evidence. The sooner the better. All right. There's one more thing. That guard captain has already learned all of our details from Wei Zhongyang. Fatso said. Qin Feiyong frowned. Then why didn't he leak it out? I don't know. Maybe it's because he knows about your relationship with Ren Wushuang and doesn't dare to. Fatso guessed. No matter what, this person must be eliminated as soon as possible. As for our background, it doesn't matter even if it's leaked. But you have to be careful. If the Lu clan were to learn of our relationship, I'm afraid that it would be detrimental to you. Qin Feiyong reminded. Don't worry about Fat Lord. After learning about the situation between you and the Lu family, Fat Lord immediately went to buy a few portals. If the Lu family really comes looking for me, Fat Lord can just slip away. Fatso chuckled. This damned Fatso is indeed reliable. Qin Feiyong muttered. If it wasn't for Fatso's help, he wouldn't have been able to deal with everything. After telling Fatso the coordinates of the second alchemy room, Qin Feiyong was about to put away the image crystal. But then, the image crystal lit up again. An old man in white quickly appeared. It was Zhou Dong in the reception hall. Qin Feiyong cupped his hands and said, Greetings, Elder Zhou. May I know why you're looking for me? Zhou Dong said, the people from the Wang clan and the Zheng clan are here. Come over quickly. They're finally here? Qin Feiyong smiled and said, then tell them to come directly to the Pill Fire Palace. Zhou Dong shook his head and said, no, there are too many people. There are 20 or 30 of them and they're all combat emperors. I don't dare to let them in. Then won't I have to waste another portal? Qin Feiyong was a little helpless. TSK brat, who doesn't know that you're a rich man now? Why do you care about a portal? Don't talk nonsense. Come and send them away. After Zhou Dong finished speaking, the phantom image disappeared. This is going to be fun. Wolf King chuckled. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and opened a portal. A man and a wolf walked in one after another. At the gate of the sacred hall, Zhou Dong and Zhou Shi stood side by side at the top of the stone stairs. Behind them and on both sides, there were many disciples of the sacred hall who were whispering to each other. And on the street below the stone stairs stood more than 20 figures. There were men and women. Some of them were elderly, while others were middle-aged. Their auras were unfathomable. They were the elders of the Wang and Zheng families. As for Wang Jian and Fifth Zheng, they were tied up and kneeling on the ground side by side. They looked quite miserable. Elder Zhou Dong, what did Qin Feiyong say? When will he come out? The two elders asked anxiously. Zhou Dong said, don't worry, I've already informed him. He'll be here soon. Swish! As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Feiyong and Wolf King appeared in the middle of the square out of thin air. Men. The pupils of the Sacred Hall disciples constricted. Some were in awe. Some were in awe. There were also some female disciples who had lustful eyes and looked like young girls in love. Moreover, They instinctively retreated to the sides and made a path. Qin Feiyong nodded and smiled politely at everyone, then walked to Zhou Dong and Zhou Xi. You brat, you really don't stop at all. Think about it. How many things have happened since you came to the sacred hall? Zhou Xi glared at Qin Feiyong fiercely. Qin Feiyong smiled bitterly. I don't want to, but the point is there are always people looking for trouble. What can I do? Zhou Xi couldn't help but feel helpless. She waved her hand and said, Okay. Go and deal with it. Okay. Qin Feiyong nodded, looked down, and immediately raised his eyebrows. Qin Feiyong, we brought Wang Jian and Fifth Zheng here. Now you can do whatever you want with them. As long as you can calm down and lift the ban on us from the treasure pavilion. The elders of the two families put down their posture and cupped their hands and pleaded. Wolf King said angrily, You didn't even bring Wang Fei and Zheng Chuan, what's there to talk about? What a waste of time. An elder of the Zheng family said, We have already sent people to capture them. They will be here soon. Fifth Zheng shouted, You guys are too much. Shut up. The elder of the Zheng family directly slapped Fifth Zheng's face. TSK. Wolf King shook his head and joked, Old dog Zheng, old dog Wang. Remember what we said at Elder Lu's residence half a month ago? Their eyes were instantly filled with hatred and resentment. At that time we said that we would make you regret it for the rest of your life, but you didn't believe us and even looked disdainful. What about now? Why are you kneeling here? Wolf King said playfully, What are you so proud of? If it weren't for the treasure pavilion, with your little ability, can you do anything to us? The two of them said angrily, We can persuade the treasure pavilion to ban you. That's also our ability. If you guys are so awesome, why don't you try and get the treasure pavilion to ban us? If you don't have the ability, don't be so arrogant here. It's embarrassing. Wolf King looked disdainful. Fifth Zheng and Wang Jian clenched their hands tightly together. They indeed didn't have the ability. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been kidnapped here by a group of elders. They never expected that this man and wolf would have such great ability. Not only did they get the treasure pavilion to ban them, but they also banned the Lu family. These two damn unfilial sons of all people, why did they have to touch Qin Feiyong's woman? Let go of me. Be careful, or I'll tell my father and you'll have to bear the consequences. At this moment, two angry roars came from afar. Everyone looked in the direction of the sound and immediately saw two brawny men holding Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei rushing over. Idiots! Your father can't even protect himself, and you still want to use his power to threaten others. I've seen a lot of idiots, but this is the first time I've seen such stupid people. Otherwise, why would they say that these two are unfilial sons who deceived their father? The disciples of the sacred hall on the square couldn't help but laugh, their eyes full of disdain. Along the way, Zheng Chuan and Wang Jian were clamoring, but the two brawny men were silent. However, when they arrived at the bottom of the stone stairs and saw the two tied up and kneeling on the ground, Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei immediately froze. Elders, what's going on? Father, why is he tied up? The two of them looked at the elders with disbelief on their faces. The group of elders all had angry looks on their faces. It's all because of you two bastards. Kneel down and apologize to Qin Feiyong. The elder of the Zheng family shouted. Qin Feiyong. Their bodies and minds trembled. They raised their heads and looked up. When they saw Qin Feiyong and the Wolf King, their faces turned deathly pale. Why is this happening? Even father has been kidnapped. What exactly happened? The two of them were stunned on the spot. After they escaped from the sacred hall, they had been hiding outside, so they didn't know what had happened during this period of time. Qin Feiyong said indifferently, Tell me, how did you escape from the sacred hall? The two of them acted as if they didn't hear him and were stunned. The elder of the Zheng family hurriedly said, Qin Feiyong, it's like this. Qin Feiyong said, I don't want you to say it, I want them to say it themselves. Okay. The elder of the Zheng family nodded repeatedly. But when he saw that Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei were still in a daze, the anger in his heart suddenly became uncontrollable. Bang! He kicked the two of them to the ground and roared, What are you still standing there for, tell me? Ah! The two of them cried out and finally came back to their senses. They also finally understood the current situation. Wang Fei shuddered and hurriedly knelt on the ground and said, Senior apprentice brother Qin, I was instigated by Zhang Chuan. Please be merciful and let me and my father go. Qin Feiyong raised his brows and suppressed his voice, saying in a low voice, Didn't you hear clearly? I want to know, how did you escape from the sacred hall? Wang Fei hurriedly said, We informed our respective fathers and got them to come and pick us up. Qin Feiyong said, After escaping from the sacred hall, where did you go? We hid in the mountains outside the city. Senior apprentice brother Qin, I really know my mistake. As long as you don't kill me, I'll do anything. Wang Fei pleaded. How preposterous! Wang Jian, fifth Zheng, how dare you? Simply looking down on our sacred hall. Zhou Dong and Wang Fei flew into a rage. Fifth Zheng roared angrily. Is it wrong for us to protect our sons? Even now you're still stubborn. Damn it! At this moment, a bone-chilling voice sounded. Lu Yun descended from the sky and tapped the air with his index finger. A stream of battle chi tore through the sky and entered Fifth Zheng's glabella like lightning. Chapter 328. Kill him. Everyone looked at Fifth Zheng, who was slowly falling to the ground, trembling in fear. Especially the elders of the Wang and Zheng families, their faces were pale. The moment she appeared, she killed Fifth Zheng. It was obvious how furious Lu Yun was at this moment. They were all afraid of becoming the next Fifth Zheng. Greetings, Elder Lu. After everyone came back to their senses, they all kowtowed. Lu Yun landed on the stone stairs and scanned the elders of the two families below. Not only did you secretly take him away, but you even denied it when I personally went to look for you. Do you think I'm so easy to fool? The two families' deceptive behavior infuriated Lu Yun. They were simply toying with her like a monkey. Plop! The elders of the two families trembled in body and mind as they knelt on the ground in unison, pleading for mercy. Elder Lu, I was wrong. I don't care about Wang Fei anymore. You can do whatever you want with him. Please be merciful and let me off this time. Wang Jian kowtowed desperately, begging bitterly. Fifth Zheng's death had completely crushed the line of defense in his heart, leaving only fear in his heart. Father, what did you say? When Wang Fei heard this, he looked at Wang Jian in disbelief. Wang Jian shouted, Don't call me father. I don't have a son like you. Interesting. Qin Feiyong and Wolf King looked at each other with a trace of amusement in their eyes. Previously he was still stubborn. But now that Lu Yun was serious, he immediately became soft. Some people really had to use iron-blooded means to be honest. Don't you think it's too late to admit your mistake now? However, Lu Yun was unmoved. No one could stop her murderous intent. Boom! A terrifying pressure pounced at Wang Jian. That moment, Wang Jian was unable to move and panicked. Elder Lu, please show mercy. Without waiting for him to finish, Lu Yun tapped the air. A stream of battle chi tore through Wang Jian's flesh like a venomous snake bearing its fangs and entered his heart. His heart exploded on the spot. With a painful scream, Wang Jian also died on the spot. The elders' faces were drained of all color. Their entire bodies and minds sank into despair. You two damned bastards, it's all your fault. They glared at the two of them with grief and indignation, wishing they could skin them alive. Whoosh! Suddenly, Lu Yun transformed into a stream of light and rushed down the street. It's over, it's over. I'm dead for sure this time. A group of elders were scared out of their wits. However, Lu Yun didn't attack them. Instead, he flew over their heads. Her gaze locked onto the people squatting at the various intersections. How dare you spy on my holy sanctum? You must have eaten the guts of a leopard. Lu Yun said coldly. Those people's hearts trembled, and they immediately turned around and fled. But in the end, not a single one of them managed to escape. All of them died tragically on the streets. Wolf King chuckled. Good kill. Indeed. Qin Feiyong nodded. Regardless of whether or not those people had come for him, as long as he killed them, he would be able to intimidate the Lu family, the Dong family and the Xiao family. In the future, these three super clans would no longer dare to send people to guard this place. It could be said that Lu Yun's actions had helped him greatly. Swoosh! After killing everyone, Lu Yun turned around and flew above the square. He said, Qin Feiyong, look for me immediately after you're done here. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded in response. Wang family, Zheng family, take care of yourselves, Lu Yun said coldly before transforming into a stream of light and disappearing from the back of the reception hall. The elders of the two families trembled as they heaved a sigh of relief. Although the two of them had been killed, they had courted death. They couldn't blame anyone else. Now, as long as they begged for Qin Feiyang's forgiveness, this matter would come to an end. The Zheng family elder stood up and cupped his hands. Qin Feiyang, Zheng Chuan and company have committed such despicable acts. Their crimes are unforgivable. You can deal with them however you want. Qin Feiyang, I'm sorry. I was just muddle-headed for a moment. Please show mercy. I really know my mistake. I'll be your slave. Can you spare my life? Zheng Chuan and company were already paralyzed on the ground in fear. Their faces were filled with despair as water flowed out of their pants. Upon hearing the Zheng family elder's words, they quivered and hurriedly kowtowed and begged for mercy. No matter who it is, I will make them pay the price for harming the people around me. You don't have the right to be my slave. Qin Feiyang coldly smiled. He looked at the group of elders and said, if you want me to remove the ban, then immediately feed them the spiritual disaster pill. What? Zheng Chuan and company's expressions changed drastically. The elders looked at each other and shook their heads. The Zheng family elder looked up at Qin Feiyang and cupped his hands. We didn't prepare the spiritual calamity pill. Wolf King shouted, what are you doing here if you didn't prepare the spiritual calamity pill? You don't have any sincerity at all. You want us to revoke the ban? Dream on. The Zheng family elder's gaze trembled as he turned to look at the elders behind him. He shouted, which one of you, go to the treasure pavilion and buy 2 spiritual calamity pills? Whoosh! A middle-aged brawny man immediately soared into the sky and quickly disappeared into the horizon. I'm going to take the spiritual calamity pill soon. What should I do? I don't want to become a cripple. Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei were completely flustered. This feeling of waiting while knowing that they were going to die made them suffer. And this was also Qin Feiyang's goal. Killing the two of them directly was too easy for them. He wanted the two of them to completely collapse. That was because there was nothing more painful and despairing than quietly waiting for death. I really don't want to die. Senior Marshal Brother Qin, please be magnanimous and let me off. Zheng Chuan begged and climbed up the stone stairs. However, when he finally managed to climb up with much difficulty, the Wolf King kicked him down again. Bang bang bang. He fell on the spot and his head was bleeding, groaning miserably. He asked for it. If it were me, I would be more brutal than Senior Brother Qin. Damn it, he actually used the calamity pill to poison the female disciples of the same sect. He's simply insane. Not only did he poison them, but he also wanted to violate Senior Sister Lu Hong. He's worse than a beast. The disciples of the sacred palace all had fierce looks in their eyes. Especially those female disciples. Their eyes were full of disgust as they looked at Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei. Whoosh! The middle-aged brawny man who went to buy the calamity pill seemed to have grown a pair of wings. In less than an hour he hurried back. He landed at the bottom of the stone stairs and looked at Qin Feiyang. I bought the calamity pill. Qin Feiyang said, give it to them. Open your mouth. The middle-aged brawny man shouted. No, elder, I beg of you. The two of them struggled desperately and begged desperately. The Zheng family elder shouted, hold them down. 2 men in black stepped forward and directly grabbed the two of them by the neck. The middle-aged brawny man waved his hand and the calamity pill flew into their mouths. The pill melted as soon as it entered their mouth. The two of them immediately lost their cultivation and strength rapidly. As soon as the 2 men in black let go, the two of them collapsed to the ground powerlessly. The despair in their eyes was gradually replaced by deep resentment. Qin Feiyang, just you wait. Sooner or later, you'll die without a burial place. I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei roared hysterically. I'm afraid you won't even have the chance to become a ghost. Wolf King grinned and waved his paw. Little Qinzi, you go see Elder Lu first. I'll stay here and have a good time with them. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. Those who were waiting had all been eliminated. Wolf King would not be in any danger if he stayed here. But to be on the safe side, Qin Feiyang gave it a teleportation door. The Zheng family elder said, Qin Feiyang, wait, can the ban be lifted? Find the white-eyed wolf. He has the final say. Qin Feiyang said indifferently. Then, he opened a teleportation gate and arrived at Elder Lu's residence. Come in. Lu Yun sat in a pavilion and said indifferently, Yes. Qin Feiyang answered and pushed open the courtyard's door. He strode into the pavilion and said, Elder, why did you call me here? Lu Yun said, I heard that you went to the treasure pavilion to buy the herbs for the marrow cleansing pill. That's true. Qin Feiyang nodded. Don't we have them in the resource hall? Do we have to go to the treasure pavilion? Elder Lu frowned. Qin Feiyang's heart skipped a beat. Perhaps this was a good opportunity to eliminate Luan. Qin Feiyang said, Elder, I immediately asked Wolf King and Huang San to go to the resource hall. But Elder Luan told me that there were no herbs. Impossible. Lu Yun suddenly stood up and flicked his sleeve. He swept up Qin Feiyang and flew towards the resource hall. Lu family, just wait to regret it. Qin Feiyang sneered inwardly. Swoosh. Not long after, the two of them landed in the square outside the resource hall. Greetings, Elder Lu. The disciples walking in and out of the hall immediately stopped and bowed respectfully. Why is Elder Lu here? Luan, who was leisurely sipping tea on the second floor, suddenly jolted. He lost his grip on the teacup and it fell to the ground, shattering into pieces. He hurriedly got up and ran to the first floor. At the same time, Lu Yun led Qin Feiyang into the resource hall. The white-robed youth working in the resource hall hurriedly stepped forward and bowed. Disciple Zhang Jin greets Elder Lu. Lu Yun said, Let me ask you, does the resource hall have the herbs for the marrow cleansing pill? Zhang Jin hesitated. At this moment, Luan ran down and smiled obsequiously. Elder Lu, the herbs for the marrow cleansing pill were all bought by someone some time ago. I haven't had the time to make up for it. As he spoke, he glanced at Qin Feiyang from the corner of his eye. A cold glint flashed in the depths of his eyes. Bought them all. Lu Yun frowned and asked, Who bought them? Luan hesitated as well. This was because he never expected Lu Yun to ask such a question. Qin Feiyang could tell at a glance. He said indifferently, Elder Lu, did you sell them all or did Lu Xian ask you not to sell them to me? Luan's expression changed as he shouted, Qin Feiyang, don't spout nonsense. Wolf King and Huang San didn't manage to buy the herbs at the resource hall, so I immediately used the teleportation gate to head to the East City's Precious Treasure Pavilion. However, I was informed by Qin Die that the Precious Treasure Pavilion had already banned me. And the one who made the Precious Treasure Pavilion ban me was your Lu family. I found it strange. How could there be such a coincidence? Elder Lu, can you give me an explanation? Chapter 329. Luan said sternly, I don't know anything. How can I explain it to you? Qin Feiyang said indifferently, You know better than anyone whether you know or not. Luan was infuriated. She looked at Lu Yun and said, Elder Lu, don't listen to his nonsense. He's just slandering me and trying to get rid of me. Qin Feiyang said, Are you feeling guilty? I have no grudge with you. Why should I get rid of you? Luan wanted to say something. Shut up. Lu Yun roared angrily and looked at the white-robed youth. Zhang Jin, tell me, does the resource hall have the herbs for the marrow cleansing pill? If you dare lie, I won't expel you from the sacred temple, but I'll kill you on the spot. Her eyes emitted a shocking killing intent. Zhang Jin's body trembled as he hurriedly knelt on the ground and said, Elder Lu, spare me. This has nothing to do with me. Elder Lu was the one who forbade me from selling it. Lu Yun's face instantly turned as cold as an iceberg. Luan's expression changed as she shouted, Bastard, what nonsense are you spouting? Zhang Jin said, Elder Lu, I'm sorry. I don't want to die, so I can only speak the truth. Darn thing, I'll kill you. Luan flew into a rage as she smacked Zhang Jin's head. But at that moment, Qin Feiyang reached out at lightning speed and grabbed Zhang Jin's arm. He pulled Zhang Jin forward and narrowly avoided the calamity. Qin Feiyang shook his head and sighed. Elder Lu, not only did you deceive your superiors, But you even silenced Elder Lu in front of her. Is your Lu family really so rampant? On the surface, these words were directed at Luan, but in fact they were meant for Lu Yun. It was equivalent to provoking Lu Yun. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun's killing intent intensified. Luan's eyes were filled with killing intent as she said sternly, "Little bastard, don't you dare spout nonsense again. You deserve to die." However, before Luan could finish her sentence, Lu Yun was like an enraged tiger as he struck Luan in the chest. Battle chi surged out like a tidal wave. As blood splattered everywhere, a fist-sized bloody hole appeared on Luan's chest. Accompanied by a shrill scream, Luan fell to the ground and breathed his last. The corners of Qin Feiyong's mouth lifted as he pursed his lips into a sneer. "Lu family, let's see how you're going to cover the sky with your hands now." Lu Yun glanced at the dead Luan and turned to look at Zhang Jin. "Do you know that not reporting the truth is also a capital offense?" Zhang Jin's face turned pale, and he said in fear, "Elder, spare my life." Qin Feiyong cupped his hands and said, "Elder Lu, Zhang Jin is just an insignificant disciple. If he doesn't listen to Elder Lu, he definitely won't be able to live. I hope Elder can let him go." Zhang Jin was stunned. He thought that Qin Feiyong would also vent his anger on him, but he didn't expect that she would plead on his behalf. "Who?" Lu Yun fell silent for a moment before exhaling deeply. "All right then. On account of Qin Feiyong pleading on your behalf, I'll let you off this time. If something similar happens in the future, remember to report to me immediately." Lu Yun said, "Thank you for sparing my life, Elder." Zhang Jin kowtowed repeatedly, crying tears of joy. Lu Yun said, "Get up. Tell me, what else do you know?" Zhang Jin stood up and said respectfully, "Not long ago, I accidentally heard a message between Luan and the Lu family head." "What did he say?" Lu Yun frowned. Qin Feiyong narrowed his eyes slightly. Zhang Jin said, "The Lu family head asked Luan to provide the resources of the resource hall to the Lu family." "What? The Lu family actually did such a thing? They're too much. Elder Lu, you must punish the Lu family severely." The surrounding disciples roared angrily. The resources of the resource hall were already in short supply, and they were still provided to the Lu family? Wasn't this clearly snatching their resources? It was extremely arrogant. Qin Feiyong also revealed a look of realization. Initially, he was curious as to why the Lu family was so fearless even after being banned by the Precious Treasure Pavilion. It turned out that they were targeting the resource hall. This was going to be interesting. The Lu family head was truly stupid. He actually extended his evil claws to the sacred hall. Wasn't he courting death? The Lu family is going to be overturned. Lu Yun was also enraged. He turned and walked out of the resource hall and shouted into the void, "Shi Ming, come to the resource hall immediately." The atmosphere here instantly became incomparably heavy. Zhang Jin walked in front of Qin Feiyong and cupped his hands. "Senior brother Qin, thank you." Qin Feiyong smiled. "There's no need. I should be the one thanking you." "Thanking me?" Zhang Jin was somewhat stunned. Qin Feiyong smiled without a word. If Zhang Jin had not said this, Lu Yun would not have really suppressed the Lu family even if he killed Luan. But it was different now. The Lu family's actions had not only infuriated the Sacred Hall disciples, but they had also completely infuriated Lu Yun. It was imperative to suppress the Lu family. This way, the Lu family would face the situation of being suppressed by both the Sacred Hall and the Treasure Pavilion. When the time came, even the supreme-grade alchemy master Lu Xingchen and the Lu family's patriarch, the East City Lord, could not save the Lu family. It could be said that Zhang Jin's words played a critical role. Whoosh! A black figure tore through the air like lightning and landed in the sky above the resource hall. It was the martial arts hall's disciplinary elder Shi Ming. Shi Ming was puzzled. "Lu Yun, why are you in such a hurry to find me? Is something the matter?" Lu Yun soared into the air and landed in front of Shi Ming. He then whispered, "What? The Lu family has really eaten the guts of a leopard." After learning of the situation, Shi Ming was enraged. The two of them discussed for a while. Shi Ming nodded and said, "All right, it's decided. All disciplinary elders, listen up. Immediately expel all the Lu family disciples from the Sacred Hall. Carry it out immediately. The two of them roared one after another. Their voices were as loud as a bell, reverberating throughout the sacred hall and lingering for a long time. All right, Lu family, let's see how you're going to jump around now. Qin Feiyong clenched his fists, his eyes shining brightly. The other disciples around also cheered loudly. However, the other disciples and disciplinary elders were extremely bewildered. They did not understand why Lu Yun and Shi Ming would suddenly give such an order. How can this be? Lu Ziyuan, who was kneeling in the square, was also in disbelief. Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng, who were beside him, were also dumbfounded. Were they hallucinating? However, the voices of the two elders had clearly reached their ears. Elder Di and Dong Cheng were also stunned for a long while before they recovered. Although they were also very confused, they did not dare to have any objections when Elder Lu ordered them to carry it out immediately. Elder Di shouted, "Disciples of the Lu clan, gather outside immediately." Stone doors opened one after another. Young men and women walked out of the Pill Fire Hall one after another. In the end, there were more than 300 people. One had to know. Disciples who were qualified to enter the Pill Fire Hall had to have at least a 5th grade spiritual power. There were only 9,000 alchemy rooms in the entire Pill Fire Hall. The Lu family took up more than 300 spots. It was no wonder the Lu family dared to be so arrogant. Elders, why are you chasing us away? What did we do wrong? What is going on? More than 300 people gathered in the square, looking at Elder Di and Dong Cheng with indignation. This is the order of the disciplinary elders. We don't know either. Elder Di shook his head. I don't accept this. I need a reason. Even if we die, we need to know why. Lu Ziyuan roared. That's right. This is unfair. We didn't do anything. Why are we being chased away? We want a reasonable explanation. Everyone began to clamor. The same scene was happening in the martial arts hall. There were more than 1,000 Lu family disciples in the martial arts hall. More than half of them were battle monarchs. Just as the situation was about to get out of control, Lu Yun and Shi Ming appeared. However, they did not give any explanation and directly asked the disciplinary elders to send them out, including Lu Zian. There were more than a dozen disciplinary elders among those who were chased away. It could be said that this was a real reshuffle. Although the other disciples still did not understand the reason, they were all cheering in their hearts. Ever since Lu Xingchen appeared, the Lu family became more and more unscrupulous. Not only did they run amok in the East City, but they also dominated the Sacred Hall. But because the Lu family was too powerful now, no one dared to voice their anger. So, the decision made by the two law-enforcing elders today could be said to be very satisfying. At the same time, in the resource hall, Senior Brother Qin, you are amazing. If not for you, we would never have been able to get rid of the tumor that is the Lu family. But you have to be careful of the Lu family's revenge. The Lu family may be down for a while, but they still have a strong foundation. Yeah, just Lu Xingchen alone is not someone we can offend. Qin Feiyong was about to leave, but the surrounding disciples swarmed up and surrounded him, talking non-stop. Thank you for your concern. I will be careful. Qin Feiyong cupped his hands and said with a smile. Regardless of whether these people were sincere or not, at least they were now on the same side as him. Everyone disperse. Lu Yun appeared again. The moment he spoke, the disciples surrounding Qin Feiyong dispersed in an uproar. He immediately spread the news of this matter. 1 spread to 10, 10 spread to 100. Soon the news spread in the Sacred Hall. Only then did everyone finally know that all this had to do with Qin Feiyong. Not only did he persuade the Treasure Pavilion to ban the Lu family, Wang family, and Zheng family, but he also chased all the disciples of the Lu family out of the Sacred Hall. This new disciple was too savage. In the past, when they learned that Qin Feiyong was a supreme-grade alchemist, they were at most in awe. However, at that moment they were all afraid of Qin Feiyong, because if it were them, they would not be able to do all this. In the square outside the resource hall, Lu Yun stood opposite Qin Feiyong and asked, "Are you satisfied with this result?" Qin Feiyong was stunned. "Elder, you can't say that. This disciple did this for the sake of the Sacred Hall. As you can see, the Sacred Hall has been turned into a mess by the Lu family. If you don't deal with it, Many disciples will think that you are siding with the Lu family. This will make everyone disappointed. After all, in the eyes of the world, the sacred hall is a pure land for cultivation, not the Lu family's backyard. Qin Feiyang spoke very seriously. Chapter 330. Qin Feiyang hurriedly waved his hand and said, "There's no need for that. Elder, you're too polite. It's my honor to be able to contribute to the holy temple. I won't ask for anything in return." "Don't talk nonsense with me." Lu Yun glared at him fiercely and said, "Although the Lu family has indeed gone overboard, you aren't a good person either. Behave yourself in the future." Qin Feiyang smiled embarrassedly and nodded. "I will definitely not take the initiative to cause trouble." After this incident, his impression of Lu Yun had improved significantly. Lu Yun said, "There's one more thing. I can't be bothered with your deal with Treasure Pavilion, nor can I be bothered. However, when you have time, refine a few supreme-grade pills for our holy temple." Qin Feiyang was taken aback as he asked in puzzlement, "Isn't there Murong Jing?" Lu Yun said helplessly, "Our holy temple has so many disciples. The supply of supreme-grade pills can't meet the demand. She has to refine pills alone and cultivate. She won't be able to handle it." Qin Feiyang nodded and said, "All right, but I can only refine pills with one pattern." Lu Yun said, "That's fine, but it can't be less than 20,000 pills a month." "That much?" Qin Feiyang was taken aback as he said with a bitter smile, "Murong Jing needs to cultivate, and so do I. How can I have so much time?" Lu Yun frowned and pondered for a moment before saying, "Then it's the same as Murong Jing. 10,000 pills a month, no less." "All right." Qin Feiyang nodded helplessly and said with a smile, "What about the price? Didn't you say that you wanted to contribute to the holy temple? Why are you talking about money now? You can't be so hypocritical." Lu Yun said with a look of disdain. Qin Feiyang's face immediately turned bitter. He had dug a hole for himself. "There's no money. However, we will provide you with the herbs. You can come to the resource hall to collect them every month. Don't say that I'm biased. Murong Jing is the same. She won't get a single reward." Lu Yun rolled his eyes at him before turning around and soaring into the sky, quickly disappearing from Qin Feiyang's sight. Alas! Qin Feiyang sighed deeply. However, there was no resentment. After all, refining pills with 2 veins required the pill fire hall's 3rd-grade pill fire. However, he was a little displeased. He turned around and entered the resource hall. He looked at Zhang Jin and said, "You heard what Elder Lu said, right? Quickly give me the herbs." "All right." Zhang Jin nodded and hurriedly ran upstairs to the warehouse. Several hundred breaths passed. Only then did he run down with his forehead beaded with sweat. He handed a Qiankuan bag to Qin Feiyang and said with a smile, "Senior Marshal Brother Qin, these are the medicinal ingredients for 10,000 sets of aura-converging pills. Keep them well." "Are they all energy-gathering pills?" Qin Feiyang was stunned and asked, "Don't you need to refine the other pills?" Zhang Jin said, "Yes, but the resource hall doesn't lack other pills for now." "Oh." Qin Feiyang nodded and asked, "Does the resource hall have battle arts?" "No. If Senior Marshal Brother Qin wants battle arts, you can only go to the martial arts treasury. Every disciple who breaks through to the Battle King level has a chance to enter the martial arts treasury." Zhang Jin explained. "Thanks." Qin Feiyang smiled and quickly returned to the pill refining room. He took out the nether devil flame and began to refine pills. With his current refining speed, he could refine 1 energy-gathering pill every 10 breaths if there was no delay. However, the quantity was too large. It would take at least 2 days to refine 10,000 energy-gathering pills. Many things had happened in these 2 days. It was all related to the Lu family. First, the disciples of the Lu family were chased out of the sacred hall, causing an uproar in the city. Then, on the day of the auction, the precious treasure pavilions in the 4 city districts used image crystals to find out that there were people from the Lu family who wanted to sneak into the auction. In the end, not only were they thrown out, the precious treasure pavilions also issued a warning. If the Lu family dared to send people to cause trouble again, then don't blame the precious treasure pavilions for turning hostile. This series of attacks caused the Lu family to fall into deep trouble. Those who were originally on good terms with the Lu family also began to distance themselves from them. Because anyone with a discerning eye could see that the Lu family's power was gone. And 3 days later, there was another huge storm in the East City. The Precious Treasure Pavilions auctioned the potential pills. After knowing the magical effects of the potential pills, the entire city went crazy. Countless families in the 4 city districts rushed to the Precious Treasure Pavilions in the East City. When the Lu family received the news, they were shocked and angry. The Lu family patriarch immediately ordered housekeeper Lu to sneak into the Precious Treasure Pavilions and snatch the potential pills no matter what. But the Precious Treasure Pavilion's defense was simply watertight. Until the end of the auction, no one succeeded in sneaking in. The Lu family also thought of asking people outside the family to help bid in the Precious Treasure Pavilions. But in the end, no one helped them. Now that the Lu family was jointly banned by the Precious Treasure Pavilions and the Sacred Hall, it was equivalent to a hot potato. No one wanted to provoke them. They were all afraid of getting into trouble. The Sacred Hall. Pill Refining Room Number 2. After 2.5 days of hard work, Qin Feiyong finally refined 10,000 energy-gathering pills. Why isn't the white-eyed wolf back yet? Qin Feiyong used a Qiankuan bag to store all the pills. He glanced at the resting room and walked out with a trace of doubt. That ruffian wolf is simply too cruel. It's been almost 3 days and he's still torturing Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei. Their screams echo outside the door every day. Every time I pass by and see their miserable state, I can't help but feel my scalp tingle. You still dare to go there? Let me tell you, I don't even dare to go out now. As soon as he walked out of the Pill Fire Palace, Qin Feiyong heard a burst of discussion. He saw a few disciples in the square whispering as they walked towards the door of the Pill Fire Palace. But when they saw Qin Feiyong, they immediately shut up and ran to Qin Feiyong with fawning smiles. One of them said, "Brother Qin, we didn't say anything bad about Wolf King. Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei deserved it." Yes. It's so satisfying. The others next to him nodded in agreement. It's fine. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly. They quickly ran into the Pill Fire Palace as if they were thieves. Am I that scary? Qin Feiyong touched his nose and smiled bitterly. At this moment, Elder D frowned and said, "Qin Feiyong, tell that ruffian wolf to stop when he's ahead. Don't torture them anymore." I understand. Qin Feiyong nodded and walked to the center of the square. He looked down at Xiaohong and Dong Cheng. The Lu family had been expelled, so the two of them were no longer angry. So much so that when he looked at Qin Feiyong, there was even a trace of flattery in his eyes. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and turned to the resource hall. After giving the energy-gathering pills to Zhang Jin, he opened a portal. But at this moment the image crystal moved. When he took it out, the fat man's figure immediately appeared in front of him. Fatso immediately said, "Boss, I've got the evidence." "Good. Meet me at the gate of the sacred palace immediately." Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed coldly. He put away the image crystal and stepped into the portal. Lord Wolf, I beg you, kill me quickly. Don't torture me anymore. Give me a quick death." When Qin Feiyong arrived at the square in front of the reception hall, shrill screams and painful pleas entered his ears. He walked to the stone stairs and looked down. Zheng Chuan and Dong Cheng were lying on the street below. They were covered in blood and didn't look human anymore. The white-eyed wolf's wolfish nature was unleashed. Its sharp claws kept scratching their bodies, leaving glaring bloody marks. And there were many old wounds on their bodies. It was obvious at a glance that the Wolf King had given the two of them a lot of healing pills. After their wounds healed, he continued to torture them. No matter how strong a person's willpower was, they would still break down if they kept going back and forth like this. Not to mention Zheng Chuan and Dong Cheng, these two cowards. None of the elders of the two families left. They had been standing by the side. After standing for a few days, their legs were numb. Qin Feiyong said, "White-eyed wolf, that's enough. Brother Qin, you're here." The elders of the two families immediately greeted him with smiles. Qin Feiyong walked down the stone stairs, took out the Chang Shui, and ended Zheng Chuan and Dong Cheng's lives. Brother Qin, Wang Jian and his son, and Zheng Wu and his son have all been killed. Do you think? The elder of the Zheng family looked at him flatteringly. Qin Feiyong said, how do I know that you won't hold a grudge and plot against me behind my back? The elder of the Zheng family said, I swear that I won't. The others also nodded. What a joke. They even dared to ban the Lu family. How could they provoke them? Qin Feiyong pondered for a moment and nodded. Okay, I'll talk to Stewardine later. I hope you'll take care of yourselves. Thank you, Brother Qin. If you have time in the future, come visit us more often. We'll take our leave first. Everyone was overjoyed. They all cupped their hands and smiled. Qin Feiyong said, take their bodies with you. The group of people took the 4 bodies and turned to leave. They finally felt relieved after being in suspense for a few days. Wolf King looked at the back of the group of people and said unhappily, Little Qin Zi, why did you kill them so quickly? I haven't had my fun yet. Qin Feiyong glanced at it, and a cold light surged in his eyes. Don't worry, there are still people waiting for you to torture. Who? Wolf King was refreshed. What do you think? Qin Feiyong smiled coldly. Wolf King seemed to have thought of something. Its bell-like eyes suddenly flashed with an astonishing fierceness. Swish! Soon, Fatso appeared out of thin air. He hurriedly ran in front of the man and wolf and said, the guard captain went to torture Yan Nanshan again yesterday, but the whole process was recorded. Well done. Qin Feiyong patted him on the shoulder and asked, did you find out why he didn't leak our details? Fatso nodded and said, yes, he wanted to use this to threaten you. But you were always in the sacred temple. Every time you left the sacred temple, you used the portal, so he didn't have a chance. Threaten? Qin Feiyong pursed his lips and sneered. Threatening him with this was simply wishful thinking. Let's go. It's time to deal with him. Qin Feiyong waved his hand and opened a portal. Wait, have you thought about it? With our current strength, going to prison like this is simply courting death. Fatso hurriedly said. Do you think I'm stupid? Of course we're going to the mansion of the Mansion Master. Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes at him and took the lead to walk into the portal. Chapter 331. The place where Qin Feiyong appeared was Ren Wushuang's courtyard. But the place was empty, and it seemed particularly deserted. I'm really not used to it without Ren Wushuang. By the way, little Qin Zi, when will you let me take the Juka Yellow Dragon Pill? Wolf King chuckled. What's the Juka Yellow Dragon Pill? Fatso looked at the man and the wolf suspiciously. It's a very awesome pill. Wolf King grinned. How awesome is it? Fatso was surprised. It seemed that a lot of incredible things had happened during his absence. Let's talk about the Juka Yellow Dragon Pill later. Come with me. After saying that, Qin Feiyong strode out of the courtyard and walked toward a guard at the intersection ahead. Young Master Qin, you're here. Although Qin Feiyong didn't come to the mansion many times, the guards in the mansion basically knew him. Seeing Qin Feiyong, the guard greeted him with a smile. Before Qin Feiyong could speak, the guard asked again, Are you here to see the eldest miss? No. Qin Feiyong shook his head and said with a smile, I'm here to see the Mansion Master. Where is the Mansion Master? The guard said, the Mansion Master is in the council hall. He seems to be arguing with the Chief Pavilion Master, the Chief Hall Master, and the City Lord of Dongcheng City. Why are they all here? Qin Feiyong was surprised. The guard said with a smile, I'm also curious, but this is a matter between big shots. A small figure like me is not qualified to interfere. Qin Feiyong asked, where is the council hall? The guard said, just go straight. You'll be there in a few hundred breaths at most. Qin Feiyong cupped his hands and said, thank you. Let's talk when we have time. Okay. The guard nodded. 2 people and 1 wolf dashed along the small path at full speed. Sure enough, in less than 300 breaths, a small but very old palace entered the sight of the 2 men and the wolf. At this moment the door was closed. Guards in black armor stood around the palace. They were like a group of javelins that stood ramrod straight, looked straight ahead, and emanated unfathomable auras. Seeing the 2 people and the wolf approaching, the 2 guards in front of the gate slightly frowned and prepared to greet them. Shoo! Qin Feiyong made a shushing gesture. The guards looked at each other with a trace of doubt in their eyes. Qin Feiyong tiptoed to the front of the door. He bent down and put his ear on the door to listen carefully. He couldn't help but be stunned. Weren't they arguing? Why wasn't there any sound from inside? Wolf King and Fatso also leaned forward and pricked up their ears to eavesdrop. The guards looked at each other. How dare he eavesdrop on the manor head's conversation? Wasn't he a little too daring? A guard was about to go up and persuade the 2 wolves and 1 wolf to leave, but a guard beside him hurriedly pulled him back and whispered a few words in his ear. Immediately, the guard's pupils constricted and he hurriedly retreated to the side, ignoring the 2 people and the wolf. The other guards only glanced at the 2 people and the wolf a few more times before looking away. The corners of their mouths were pursed into a bitter smile. Only the 2 people and the wolf dared to be so presumptuous here. At the same time, in the silent main hall, 2 men and 2 women sat. The one at the top was a white-haired old man, no doubt the manor head. Below him on the left was an old man with white hair and a ruddy complexion. He wore a red robe and seemed to be in high spirits, but his old face was filled with anger at the moment. He was the city lord of the East City, the ancestor of the Liu family. On the right, 2 peerless beauties sat side by side. One was wearing a colorful dress. Her facial features were delicate and her skin was whiter than snow. She was like a beautiful butterfly. The other was wearing a purple dress, with a face like a flower and a body like the moon. She could be called a peerless beauty. Both of them looked to be around 25 or 26 years old. But obviously, this was not their real age, because the woman in the colorful dress was the Grand Hall Master of the temple. The woman in purple was the Grand Hall Master of the Precious Treasure Pavilion. Moreover, the 2 of them looked similar in terms of appearance, figure, and demeanor. But at this moment, the 2 women, the ancestor of the Liu family and the manor head, lowered their heads and remained silent. What's going on? Why is there no movement at all? The 2 people and the wolf looked at each other, their eyes full of doubts. Let's go in and see. Wolf King chuckled and was about to wave his claws and smash open the door. Qin Feiyong grabbed him and whispered, "If you go in like this, won't the Grand Hall Master and the others know that we know the manor head? Then how long do we have to wait?" Wolf King was dissatisfied. "Let's wait," Qin Feiyong whispered. "My lord, I admit that this matter is indeed the fault of the Liu family. But the temple can't drive out all of the disciples of the Liu family. And the Precious Treasure Pavilion. Don't you think it's too much to ban the Liu family over such a small matter?" The ancestor of the Liu family finally broke the silence and looked at the manor head angrily. "Too much? Old monster Liu, don't say it so casually. All these years the Liu family has taken advantage of the Precious Treasure Pavilion because of Liu Xingqian, a supreme-grade alchemist. Has the Precious Treasure Pavilion ever complained? But the Liu family is getting more and more arrogant, almost to the point of lawlessness. This time, you're openly provoking the Precious Treasure Pavilion. If I don't order the Liu family to be banned, where will the Precious Treasure Pavilion's dignity go?" The woman in purple said coldly. "Exactly. The Liu family even dares to touch the resource hall of the temple. If we don't put you down, I'm afraid you'll ride on the temple's head when the time comes. Also, let me give you a kind reminder. Those who know might say that you, old monster Liu, didn't discipline your children well. But those who don't know might think that the Liu family wants to become the master of the city. That's a serious crime." The multicolor-robed woman's red lips lifted slightly as she pursed her lips playfully. But those words made the ancestor of the Liu family's expression change drastically. He hurriedly said, "My lord, I don't mean that." The woman in colorful clothes said, "Who knows if you mean that?" The woman in purple added, "Maybe that's what you're thinking. Don't you dare slander me." The ancestor of the Liu family opened his eyes wide and glared at the 2 of them. The woman in colorful clothes smiled and said, "It's just a joke. Why are you so nervous? Do you really have a guilty conscience?" The ancestor of the Liu family pointed at the 2 of them, so angry that his body was trembling. "Humph, I can't be bothered to talk nonsense with you 2 stinky women. In the end." He snorted coldly and turned to the manor head. He bowed and said, "My lord, please give the order to lift the ban." The two women looked at each other and couldn't help but frown. If the manor head nodded, then as the chief pavilion master and chief hall master, they wouldn't dare to disobey. The manor head lowered his head, his old eyes deep in thought. A moment later, he raised his head to look at Old Monster Lu and smiled. "Old Lu, how many years have you been with me?" Old Monster Lu shook his head and said, "This subordinate doesn't remember clearly. It's been a long time anyway." The manor head sighed. "That's right. It's been so long that I can't remember." Old Monster Lu frowned, not understanding what the manor head was trying to do. The manor head said, "You've been with me for so long. Shouldn't you know my character very well?" That moment, the two of them heaved a sigh of relief. The manor head had always been fair and impartial. He couldn't tolerate sand in his eyes. If he didn't find out, he wouldn't say anything. But once he found out, even if his family members made a mistake, he would punish them severely. Old Monster Lu's pupils constricted as he pleaded, "My lord, can you show mercy on the account that this subordinate has served you for all these years? Enough. Don't challenge this old man's limits. This old man is talking to you in a pleasant manner. You should accept it with an open mind. Must you force this old man to fall out with you?" The manor head slammed his palm on the armrest of his chair and suddenly stood up. His old face was filled with anger. "This subordinate doesn't dare." Old Monster Lu's gaze trembled as he hurriedly bent down. "This old man has long heard about the conduct of those juniors of yours from Wuxia. If it weren't for you, this old man would have chased them out of the state capital long ago. The Treasure Pavilion and the Sacred Palace did the right thing in this matter, and they will continue to do so. Instead of pleading here, why don't you go back and discipline them properly? If you cause any more trouble for this old man, don't blame this old man for removing your position as the city lord," the manor head said. Old Monster Lu's gaze trembled as he hurriedly said, "Yes, this subordinate will go back and discipline them right away. There's more. Let the young people settle their own matters. If the older generation interferes, it's a little unfair." The manor head said meaningfully, "Yes, manor head, this subordinate will pass down the order. But my lord, this matter started because of Qin Feiyang. He asked the Treasure Pavilion and the Sacred Palace to help. Is this fair?" Old Monster Lu was unconvinced. "Old Monster Lu, do you have any shame?" "Yes, we did help Qin Feiyang, but he has the ability to do so. Moreover, if it weren't for those old fogies of your Lu family trying to get rid of him, would he have come to us? I can tell you that with Qin Feiyang's intelligence, as long as those old fogies of the Lu family don't interfere, no one of the Lu family's disciples is a match for him. So, before you talk about others, you better go back and discipline those shameless descendants of yours." The two women in colorful clothes did not show any mercy and did not hide their disdain. "Idiot! Aren't you putting your old face up for a beating?" The two people and the wolf outside snickered. After all, he was an experienced and knowledgeable old monster who had seen countless people, but he still made such a low-level mistake. His IQ was really worrying. It was no wonder that those people of the Lu family were all like idiots. Turned out that this was hereditary. Old Monster Lu was too ashamed to stay any longer. He cupped his hands and said, "My lord, I'll take my leave first." The manor head nodded and said, "You must discipline them well. When I hear someone praise the Lu family one day, I'll ask them to lift the ban." "Yes." Old Monster Lu responded respectfully. He glanced at the two women in purple, flicked his sleeves, and turned to walk toward the door. "My lord will take our leave too." The two women in purple got up one after another. "Okay." The manor head nodded. Outside the door, a guard turned his head to look at the two men and the wolf and whispered, "Come in and hide." "It's too late," Qin Feiyang muttered. The footsteps had already arrived behind the door. He waved his hand and led Fatso and the Wolf King directly to the castle. The guard's eyes were filled with bewilderment. Almost at the next moment, the door of the palace opened, and the Lu family's patriarch strode out with a furious look on his face. "Greetings, City Lord Lu." The group of guards bowed and saluted. The Lu family's patriarch glanced at them coldly, soared into the sky, and disappeared in an instant. The two women in purple also came out one after another. The woman in purple grabbed the hand of the woman in colorful clothes and said with a smile, "Sister, come to the treasure pavilion when you're free and chat with me. It's quite boring to be alone." The woman in colorful clothes nodded and said, "Okay, sister, if you're free, come to the sacred palace to play more often." Chapter 332. Swoosh. Two people and a wolf appeared at the door again. Fatso said sneakily, "Boss, did you hear that? The Grand Temple Master and the Precious Treasure Pavilion Master are a pair of beautiful sisters? What do you want?" Qin Feiyong was stunned and looked at him with a frown. "Nothing, I'm just curious." Judging from their voices, they shouldn't be old women in their 70s or 80s. Listening to their conversation, they probably aren't men. Otherwise, they wouldn't have said something like, "Boring. Boss, why don't you use your masculine charm and get them? This way we will be able to do whatever we want in Great Zhou City." Fatso said with a wretched smile. "That's a good idea." Wolf King nodded. The group of guards at the side were dumbfounded. Wasn't this man and wolf too wretched? Cough cough. Qin Feiyong was a little embarrassed. He directly gave Wolf King and Fatso a knock on the head. "Talk nonsense again and I'll tear your mouths apart." Qin Feiyong glared at them fiercely. He smiled at the guards and turned to walk into the main hall. The decorations in the hall were very simple. There were no other decorations on the walls other than a few murals. There were only 6 chairs on the floor. There was a tea table beside each chair. They were all carved out of the most common wood. Beside a few stone pillars and in the 4 corners, there was a pot of green plants. They were full of vitality. Of all the things in the hall, these potted plants were probably the most valuable. It was obvious that the mansion master was a very honest old man. The mansion master was slightly stunned and asked in confusion, "Why are you here?" Before Qin Feiyong could answer, the mansion master said, "But you're just in time. I have something to tell you." Qin Feiyong walked to the mansion master and asked in confusion, "Is it about the Lu family?" "No." The mansion master shook his head and smiled. "I want to ask, what do you think of Wushuang?" "Sister." Qin Feiyong was stunned and nodded. "Sister is very good." "Waha." Wolf King rushed up and said with a strange smile, "Old man, are you trying to matchmake little Qinzi and little Ren? Let me tell you, my little Qinzi is already taken." The mansion master was stunned. Cough cough. Fatso also walked in. He coughed dryly and said, "Brother Wolf, you're wrong. She should be taken. Boss can't be considered a flower." Wolf King chuckled and said, "Who cares if it's called a grass or a flower? It has the same meaning anyway." Qin Feiyong's veins bulged. These 2 bastards, did they even understand the situation? One had to know that this was in front of the prefecture lord. If they angered this old man, none of them would be able to live in peace. Fortunately, when he looked at the manor lord didn't seem angry. The manor head sized up Wolf King and Fatso. In the end, he couldn't help but shake his head and laugh. "You think too much." "I just want to ask you, do you think Schwanger and Lu Xingchen are a good match?" The manor lord said. "What?" He didn't want to matchmake Qin Feiyong and Ren Wushuang. But Ren Wushuang and Lu Xingchen? Are you kidding me? They're definitely not a good match. How can that idiot be a good match for little Ren? "Old man, don't push little Ren into the fire pit. Be careful or she'll hate you for the rest of her life." Wolf King roared. "Fire pit?" The manor lord was stunned. He looked at Qin Feiyong and said, "What do you think?" "Of course not. Although I haven't seen Lu Xingchen, my sister has mentioned him to me. I heard that he's not a good person. And every time she mentioned him, my sister's face was full of disgust." Qin Feiyong said without hesitation, "This is troublesome." The manor lord frowned. "What's wrong?" Qin Feiyong didn't understand. The manor lord said, "Didn't Shuang tell you that she and Lu Xingchen have a marriage contract?" "Marriage contract?" The 2 men and 1 wolf looked at each other. They really didn't know. Ren Wushuang had never mentioned it. Wolf King said angrily, "Old man, is there a grandfather like you? Why don't you ask for her opinion? Sooner or later, she'll hate you to death." The manor lord's face was full of wry smiles. He sighed and said in fact they were engaged as soon as they were born. It's commonly known as an infant marriage. Wolf King said disdainfully, "You're selling off your granddaughter at such a young age. You're really generous." Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows and shouted, "Don't talk nonsense. It doesn't matter." The manor lord waved his hand and said, "To be honest, this marriage was not decided by me. It was Shuang Er's parents." The manor lord said that Ren Wushuang's parents had a good relationship with Lu Xingchen's parents. Not long after Lu Xingchen was born, Ren Wushuang was also born. At that time, Lu Xingchen's father proposed to set up a marriage contract for the two children, so that they could be even closer. Ren Wushuang's parents also readily agreed. At first, the manor lord was also very satisfied with Lu Xingchen. But when Lu Xingchen grew up and became a supreme alchemist, his personality slowly changed. He was arrogant, rude, and so on. The manor lord also gradually began to feel disappointed. But the marriage contract had already been set. As the lord of a state, he naturally couldn't break the marriage contract. But when he saw his granddaughter's reluctant look, he couldn't bear it. So, he was now riding a tiger and was at a loss of what to do. Wolf King said telepathically, "Little Qin Zi, why don't we help him? Anyway, we've already offended the Lu family. It doesn't matter if we offend them again." This, Qin Feiyong hesitated. Wolf King said, "Anyway, Ren Wushuang is also your sister. Are you going to let this little cabbage be eaten by that pig Lu Xingchen?" Qin Feiyong smiled bitterly. Of course he would help Ren Wushuang. But one had to know that Ren Wushuang was the manor lord's granddaughter. As long as Lu Xingchen married her, the Lu family's status in the spiritual state would be even more stable. How could the Lu family easily give up such an opportunity? It was simply wishful thinking to expect the Lu family to give up voluntarily. After pondering for a while, he looked up at the manor lord and said with a smile, "It's not convenient for you to do this, so let us do it." "Really?" The manor lord's eyes lit up. "Yes." Qin Feiyong nodded and said with a faint smile, "After all, she's my sister. Although she's not my biological sister, she's really good to me. I don't want her to be ruined by that pig Lu Xingchen." Good, good, good. The manor lord nodded repeatedly, got up and walked to Qin Feiyong, and said with a smile, "If you can really solve this matter, I'll reward you handsomely." "What reward?" Wolf King walked up and chuckled. "It's a secret for now." The manor lord smiled mysteriously. Fatso said with a sneer, "Brother Wolf, think about it. The reward from the manor lord won't be bad." "That's not necessarily true. Look at this, the most valuable thing is those potted plants. They're even poorer than little Qin Zi back in Iron Ox Town." Wolf King said with disdain. The manor lord's old face twitched, and he said angrily, "You little wolf, are you so presumptuous because I'm too easy to talk to?" Wolf King pursed his lips and said, "Don't threaten me, I'm very stingy. If you offend me, I won't care about Ren Wushuang anymore. You can worry about it yourself." The manor lord's veins were bulging. Did he threaten him? It was clearly this ruffian wolf who was threatening him, okay? It was really outrageous. He was the lord of a state. Who didn't respect him when they saw him? Since he became the manor lord, this was the first time he was threatened. It was the first time in his life that he was threatened by a wolf. However, with this ruffian wolf's character and Qin Feiyong's cleverness, he might really be able to break the engagement. Thinking of this, he was too lazy to care about it. He looked at Qin Feiyong and said with a smile, "Why are you looking for me? By the way, I almost forgot." Qin Feiyong patted his head, looked at Fatso and said, "Take out the evidence." Fatso nodded and took out the image crystal. Battle chi surged and light shone in all directions. In the void in front of them, an image quickly emerged. In the image, the guard captain walked into the prison, opened the stone door of the cell, and punched and kicked Yan Nanshan as soon as he entered. At the same time, he also cursed some unbearable vulgarities. The manor lord asked, "Why are you showing me this?" Qin Feiyong frowned and said, "You don't know him? He is Yan Nanshan." "Yan Nanshan?" The manor lord pondered for a while and said, "So it's him. I've heard of him, but I've never seen him. It seems that Wang Hong is in charge." "You've never seen him?" Qin Feiyong was stunned. But it made sense. What kind of existence was the manor lord? Ordinary people would not meet him at all. What's more, Yan Nanshan was now a criminal. Last time, I had an agreement with Commander Wang Hong that Yan Nanshan would be released after another year of imprisonment. But I didn't expect that the guard captain would treat him like this. Qin Feiyang immediately explained the ins and outs of the matter in detail. Fatso added a few words from time to time, adding fuel to the fire. After listening, the manor lord was furious. As the guard captain of the prison, he actually used his power for personal gain. It was simply unforgivable. Men! He shouted angrily. A guard immediately ran in and bowed. Sir, what can I do for you? The manor lord said. Go and get Wang Hong. Yes. The guard responded respectfully, turned around and ran out. After the guard left, the manor lord turned his head to look at Fatso, his old eyes shining with an inexplicable light. What? Fatty felt a little guilty under her stare. The manor lord said, It's only been half a month and you're able to get such evidence. You're not simple at all. You're flattering me. Compared to boss, I'm still far behind. Fatso smiled embarrassedly. The manor lord asked, Did you bribe the other guards? Fatso immediately became vigilant and said, If you promise not to blame me, I'll tell you. The manor lord waved his hand and said, All right, you don't have to tell me. I already know the answer. Without a doubt, it must be one of the guards who was bribed by Fatso. Of course, he also knew that this was very common. But they were so easily bribed. Were these guards too weak to resist the temptation? How embarrassing. At this moment, Wang Hong strode into the main hall and bowed. Greetings, my lord. The manor lord nodded and said, Fatso, let Wang Hong see what kind of people he has trained. What do you mean? Wang Hong frowned. Fatso waved his hand, and the image appeared again. Damn it. After watching it, Wang Hong was furious. He bowed and said, My lord, it's my fault. Please punish me. What's the use of punishing you? That guard captain, it's up to you. As for Yan Nanshan, I heard from Qin Feiyang that he's a good person and has already learned to repent. Just let him go. The manor lord ordered. Yes. Wang Hong nodded and asked, Send him back to Yin County? Or let him stay in the city? The manor lord asked, What's his cultivation level? Wang Hong said, 8-star combat emperor. His strength is not bad. Then don't send him back. Didn't the Holy Sanctum just chase away a group of people? Arrange for him to go to the Holy Sanctum. The manor lord said. The two men and the wolf were overjoyed. Yan Nanshan's suffering was finally over. All right, I'll do it right away. Wang Hong bowed in response, then turned around and walked out. Wolf King hurriedly said, Wait, let's go too. Wang Hong glanced at the two men and the wolf, then looked at the manor lord. Wolf King said anxiously, Old man, we've already agreed with Yan Nanshan that we'll pick him up personally. You can't let us go back on our words. The manor lord looked at the two men and the wolf, then waved his hand and said, Bring them there. Yes. Wang Hong waved his hand and swept up the two men and the wolf, then flew out of the meeting hall at lightning speed and toward the prison. These three little guys are really something. The manor lord sighed. Bribing the guards. Suppressing the Liu family. Even a shrewd old antique might not be able to do all these things. But now it was happening to these young people. Chapter 333. Prison. When Qin Feiyang arrived at the plaza, the rage in his heart erupted like a volcano, uncontrollable. He raised his head and looked at the stone tower. When he saw the guard captain standing in front of the stone tower, his eyes flashed with a cold light. At the same time, the guard captain also noticed Qin Feiyang, and a trace of joy appeared on his face. It's finally here. Finally a chance. Wei Zhongyang had already told him everything. As long as he had this information, this person would definitely obediently hand over the dagger. However, when he saw Wang Hong, who was traveling with him, his expression changed again. Why would Wang Hong come with Qin Feiyang? No. Whether it was Wang Hong, Qin Feiyang, or Fatso and Ruffian Lang, they all had a strange expression. They seemed to be coming aggressively. At the same time, when a wide-faced guard standing behind the guard captain saw Fatso, his eyes flashed with an inexplicable light. Fatso rushed forward and shouted at the guard captain, Open the door immediately. The guard captain raised his eyebrows and looked at Wang Hong. Wang Hong said, take us to see Yan Nanshan. What? They're here to see Yan Nanshan. The guard captain's heart trembled, and a trace of panic appeared in his eyes. He had just given Yan Nanshan a good beating yesterday. His injuries had not healed yet. If he went in now and was seen by Wang Hong, he would definitely be held responsible. Fatso shouted coldly, don't you have ears? Hurry up and open the door. The guard captain's eyes trembled. He took out a token and turned around to open the door. Trembling with fear, he led the group to Yan Nanshan's cell. It was worth mentioning that, before entering the castle, Fatso glanced at the wide-faced guard. Both of them had a strange smile on their faces. How could this be? Why would they come to see Yan Nanshan at this time? The guard captain stood in front of the cell, extremely panicked. He put his hand in his chest, but couldn't find the key to open the stone door. Wang Hong frowned. Do you need me to help you find the key? No. I've found it. The guard captain shook his head repeatedly. He took out the pentagram key and embedded it in the indentation on the stone door. Yet his arm was trembling. Two people and one wolf looked at each other, and their eyes couldn't help but emit a cold light. Clang! The stone door finally opened. Yan Nanshan entered their sight. At this moment he was unconscious. His entire body was a mess of flesh and blood. Not a single part of his body was intact. He simply didn't look like a human. Qin Feiyong ran into the prison cell and checked on Yan Nanshan's injuries. He turned his head and roared at the guard captain. What happened? The guard captain shook his head and said, I don't know either. Maybe he took things too hard and hurt himself. Self-harm? Fatso sneered. This person was very cunning. If he didn't have any evidence, he probably couldn't do anything to him. Clang! Qin Feiyong took out the Chong Shui and cut off the iron shackles. The guard captain raised his brow and shouted, Qin Feiyong, what are you doing? He turned to look at Wang Hong and said angrily, Commander Wang, look at him. He's way too reckless. He doesn't care about the rules of the prison at all. Shut up. Wang Hong frowned. If Qin Feiyong dared to cut off the iron shackles in front of him, it meant that he had already obtained his tacit approval. If he couldn't even think of that, was he brainless? Without the shackles, the battle chi in Yan Nanshan's body awakened and started recovering on its own. The reason why Yan Nanshan's injuries could not recover was because the god of gravity metal could restrain battle chi. Qin Feiyong gave Yan Nanshan a supreme-grade healing elixir. Soon, his injuries recovered. A few hundred breaths later, Yan Nanshan finally woke up. He raised his head and looked at Qin Feiyong. Then, he looked at the Wolf King and Fatso beside him and whispered, I'm not dead yet? His voice was weak and hoarse. Wolf King chuckled. With us around you can't die even if you want to. You can talk now. Yan Nanshan was surprised. Not only can I talk, but I can also change my size. Look. Wolf King shook his body and instantly turned into the size of a palm. He jumped up and down as if he was showing off to an elder. He was rather cute. Yan Nanshan was a little dazed. He glanced at the two men and the wolf and smiled. Thank you, but I'm fine now. You don't have to come and visit me every now and then. Who said we're here to visit you? We're here to take you out. Furthermore, how are you fine now? Fatso rolled his eyes. However, there was a cold glint in his eyes. Take me out? Yan Nanshan was stunned. The Imperial bodyguard captain turned pale with fright. Didn't they say that Yan Nanshan would only be released after a year? Why was he released now? If Yan Nanshan was allowed to leave the prison alive, he would definitely cause endless trouble in the future. Really? After Yan Nanshan came back to his senses, he looked at Qin Feiyong and asked. Qin Feiyong nodded. Yes, this is an order from the Academy Lord himself. I can finally get out, Yan Nanshan murmured. He was in disbelief and felt like he was dreaming. However, the guard captain's heart was in turmoil. The Academy Lord had given the order personally. It was over. It was completely over now. Yan Nanshan was stronger than him. When Yan Nanshan was released, he would definitely be the first to find trouble with him. Qin Feiyong helped Yan Nanshan up and turned to look at the guard captain, sneering, Are you afraid now? The guard captain panicked. I didn't do anything wrong. What's there to be afraid of? Qin Feiyong said, Fatso, show him. All right. Fatso took out an image crystal and an image appeared rapidly. How is that possible? Why do you have this? The guard captain was dumbfounded and looked at Fatso in bewilderment. Don't do it unless you don't want others to know. Even the Academy Lord knows about what you've done. Tell me, what consequences will you face next? Fatso sneered. The guard captain trembled and looked at Wang Hong hurriedly. Commander Wang, listen to my explanation. Yan Nanshan was the one who spoke arrogantly. In a fit of anger, I tortured him. Enough! Wang Hong shouted coldly. Thud! The guard captain knelt on the ground and begged, Commander Wang, I'm telling the truth. Please investigate. If you admit your mistake, I'll be lenient. However, you've disappointed me. Until now, you're still stubborn. You deserve to die. Wang Hong's eyes were filled with killing intent. Commander, you can't kill me. The guard captain retreated hurriedly. At the same time, he took out an image crystal and looked at Qin Feiyong. I know everything about you. Give me a portal immediately. Otherwise, I'll tell everyone about you. He knew that he would not be able to escape today, so he could only escape from the city to save his life. How dare you? Qin Feiyong's background is forbidden by the Academy Lord's order. If you dare to tell anyone, not only will you die, but your family head will also die. Wang Hong was furious. The Academy Lord again. The guard captain's body trembled. Just who was this guy? Why was the Academy Lord so concerned about him? Fat Lord already knew that you wanted to use this to blackmail us. Unfortunately, you're too naive. Let's not talk about the Academy Lord first. Even if you tell everyone, it won't hurt us. On the contrary, it'll only make us more famous and make the Lu family and the other families more afraid of us. Fatso shook his head. His eyes filled with sarcasm. The guard captain murmured, Then everything I've done will be in vain? Whoosh! At this moment, with a single step, Wang Hong landed in front of the guard captain. With lightning speed, he crushed the image crystal in his hand. The guard captain trembled and knelt on the ground again. He begged, Commander, please spare my life. I was wrong. I'll change. You only have one chance. Wang Hong extended his index finger and pointed at the guard captain's forehead. Sir, wait. Yan Nanshan suddenly said. Wang Hong frowned. Yan Nanshan cupped his hands and said, I want to fight with the guard captain. Please allow me. No. Fatso and Wolf King hurriedly said. Yan Nanshan was seriously injured and his mental state was not good. He could not use his full strength. Even if his cultivation level was higher than the guard captain's, he would not be at an advantage. Qin Feiyong thought for a while and nodded. I agree. Wolf King said angrily, Little Qinzi, are you crazy? Qin Feiyong said. He has tortured the temple master for so long. It's best for the temple master to end his life. Yan Nanshan had his pride. After being bullied for so long, he was full of resentment. If he did not vent it now, he would not be satisfied for the rest of his life. But Wolf King still wanted to say something. Yan Nanshan waved his hand and said, Don't worry. Even if I can't use my full strength, I can still trample him under my feet. The guard captain said, How arrogant. Fine, I'll fight with you. If I win, you'll let me go. You can't win. Yan Nanshan shook his head, his entire body exuding an unparalleled confidence. The old Yan Nanshan was back. Wang Hong thought for a while and said, Okay, let's go to the square outside. He also wanted to see how much potential Yan Nanshan had. They walked out of the ancient tower. It's been a long time since I saw the sun. Yan Nanshan stood on the stone stairs and looked up at the sky. He felt like a lifetime had passed. Swoosh! The guard captain took a step forward and landed at a corner of the square. His aura exploded. He was a 7-star combat emperor. Come on, I'll show you the difference between you and me. He looked up at Yan Nanshan with provocation in his eyes. Is that so? Yan Nanshan retracted his gaze and looked down. Qin Feiyong said, Palace Master, open your mouth. Yan Nanshan was stunned. He was confused, but he did not ask. His cracked lips opened slightly. Qin Feiyong secretly took out a battle chi pill with 2 veins. He held it in his hand and stuffed it into Yan Nanshan's mouth at lightning speed. This is. Yan Nanshan was shocked. Although he did not see it, he knew it was a battle chi pill when it entered his mouth. But this energy was too majestic. It kept flowing into his chi si. The battle chi that he had lost was quickly replenished. Qin Feiyong said with a smile, "I'll explain it to you after we get rid of that guy." "Okay." Yan Nanshan nodded. "I'll make you pay for the humiliation I've suffered." You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.